This is the Discover Card Countdown to Green as we get ready to go racing.
For just the third time, the NASCAR Winston Cup Series comes to the young Chicagoland Speedway. And all the stars are here. Race fans don't have to wait for a special Midsummer Classic because in the Winston Cup Series, every race is an all-star race. This July, Chicago is the all-star city, but the first pitch comes today. And in this game, every pitch is a fastball.
All set? Let's go.
Last week, the Pepsi 400 ended with a bang. Greg Biffle's first Winston Cup victory. Who's next?
Line it up, baby!
Maybe a young driver ready to win again? Or a veteran racing toward an overdue return to victory lane? Chicago turned one young cub into a star and has made another a bear to beat. It's game day in Chicagoland. The Bulls are in town.
You're unbelievable.
And this star knows the race to the championship is no slam dunk.
Give me fuel, give me fire, give me double shot inside.
NBC Sports presents NASCAR. Live from the Chicagoland Speedway in Joliet, Illinois, it's the Tropicana 400. These fans started pouring in here early this morning with great anticipation. The track record smashed in qualifying. The first three on the grid are former Winston Cup champions. And a dozen drivers are trying to do what Greg Biffle did last week, get their first Winston Cup win. Hi everybody, I'm Bill Weber, just outside of Victory Lane here at the Chicagoland Speedway. Today, the Winston Cup Series hits the halfway mark. The Tropicana 400 is race 18 of 36. Pole sitter Tony Stewart leads a trio of talented drivers at the front of this field that have combined for 6 Winston Cup championships and 121 career victories. Today, page 1 is row 1. Here's Marty Snyder.
And Bill, when you walk through the garage area this morning, everybody says the 20 car is the one to beat. Tony, do you agree with that popular belief?
I like what everybody's talking about. We got a really good car. I mean, the Home Depot Monte Carlo has been good from the first run off the truck, and that's the type of scenario you want to have as a driver, is to take the thing in the first run of the first practice session on Friday and have it be solid and stable and fast. And every time we've been out, it's been quick. So hopefully we got a great starting spot with the pole, and hopefully we can get out front and stay out front all day. The
car he has today has raced once this year, Matt Yoakum, and it won at Pocono.
Jeff Gordon's won at 19 and 23 racetrack, a second here last year. You've got the two-time Kansas winner on the grid. You have to like your odds, Jeff.
Well, I like the way the car's driving. It's really fast, and we've got great track position starting up on that front row, and that #1 pit stall. So things have been going really good this weekend, and we're going to fight real hard to try to get that win here.
Quickly, how are you feeling?
I'm better. I get better every day. I'm still not 100%. It's pretty warm out, but I'm going to stay real hydrated. And, I'm not going to use that as an excuse. If we win, or if we're out there today, we're going to have a shot at winning, and I'm going to make sure that I give it everything I got.
He's never won here, never led here. Both those factors could change today. Dave?
Well, Matt Kenseth has been the points leader for 14 straight races, but he's qualified 24th here today at Chicagoland. Matt, is that car good enough to win or just protect your points lead?
I don't really know yet. I mean, we're going to run as hard as we can, and hopefully it's good enough to win. And, I would have liked to qualify a little farther up to the front here, because the track position is probably as important or more important here than anywhere we go all year. But I feel like our DeWalt car was doing everything I wanted to do in both practices yesterday, and was real happy with it. Today's a different day. There's been a Busch race, and, it's a different day. But what we had yesterday I was pretty happy with, and thought it was going to be pretty competitive.
Well, last week at Daytona, he finished 6th to help his points lead. But his teammate Greg Biffle, well, he won the race.
If Greg Biffle's name is new to you, he's from Vancouver, Washington. Got discovered by old BP.
Benny, you don't know how much I appreciate you recommending me to Jack Roush. Without you, I wouldn't be standing up here tonight.
The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series champion after hooking up with Jack Roush. On to the NASCAR Busch Series champion there 1 year ago. Awesome job, guys. Way to go. Greg Biffle is going to score a win at Daytona in just his 23rd NASCAR Winston Cup start.
Greg Biffle in victory lane, his first Winston Cup win. It comes at Daytona. He can brag for life. And they will always say, Greg Biffle, Winston Cup winner. Congratulations. I'm sure that was a fine moment, but what was it like walking into the garage here on Friday?
I'll tell you what, it was exciting walking in here, you know, with all the people and all the phone calls I've gotten and all the congratulations. You know, I'm so excited to win my first Winston Cup race, and then to win it at Daytona was so special.
Now, you've talked about how this team has struggled at times. Now you've been to victory lane. Can you get back there?
I think we can, and I've been saying all season, I think this team's capable of winning this season on the circuit, and you know, I really feel we can get back in victory lane. I say back in, but I didn't feel that we could win a restrictor plate track. So I think we can win one of these races, and I want to win more now than I ever did.
It lights the fire, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. It just it puts that thing in you. You know you can get in victory lane, and you know, these guys are working hard, and we're okay here at Chicago today, and we'll see what we can do.
All right, thanks for coming up here. Best of luck. Go get your second one.
Thank you.
Greg Biffle is 20th in the Winston Cup Championship standings. Here's a look at the NASCAR top 10. Matt Kenseth increased his lead, now 180 points in front. A year ago, after 17 races, it was 295 points from 1st to 10th. By the way, a tie for 11th right now between Tony Stewart and Mark Martin.
Discover Card Countdown to Green is brought to you by Discover to Go. It pays to discover. By Tropicana Pure Premium. Nothing but the juice. Tropicana Pure Premium. And by Subway. Fresh-made sandwiches on fresh-baked bread. Subway. Eat fresh.
This week, NASCAR fined 3 teams for violations that were committed at the Daytona International Speedway leading up to the Pepsi 400. The 45 team of Kyle Petty was fined $25,000 and 25 driver and owner points for unapproved rear jacking bolts. Same fine assessed Morgan McClure Motorsports for an unapproved fuel cell. And the 15 team of Michael Waltrip also fined $25,000 plus 25 owner and driver points for an unapproved carburetor. Now, the points penalty dropped Michael 417 points behind championship leader Matt Kenseth, but he remained in 5th place in the standings. Benny Parsons is standing by upstairs to call the race this afternoon with Alan Bestwick and Wally Dallenbach. BP, what was the situation with that carburetor on the 15?
Well, Bill, we showed you our engine last week in Daytona, as a matter of fact, our cutaway engine. And we also have a cutaway carburetor. This is the Ventura of the carburetor, where the air comes down through, pulling the fuel down inside the engine to make the horsepower. What NASCAR is saying, I talked to John Darby, NASCAR Winston Cup competition director. He said that this hole has to be a certain size. As a matter of fact, NASCAR even has a gauge that goes down inside to make sure that the teams don't enlarge this hole, because, in fact, larger is better. He is saying, John is saying, that the 15 team took a punch and a hammer and hit the punch at the throat of the Venturi, making an indentation inside the carburetor. So when you put the gauge down inside, it hit the bump on the carburetor and would not go down inside, making the gauge believe that the carburetor was small enough. NASCAR looked at that and said, look, hey guys, that was intentional. You did this on purpose, so therefore we're going to fine you 25 points as well as $25,000. Now, in fairness to Michael Waltrip's team, this carburetor was confiscated on Thursday morning in Daytona. So in fact, they ran the qualifying on Friday and the race with a legal carburetor, Bill.
Thanks, Benny, and we'll see you for the Tropicana 400 in just a few moments. Now, last Saturday at Daytona, a scary sight. Late in the race, the hood from the damaged race car of Robbie Gordon flew off and flew into the stands. One fan was held overnight in the hospital for observation and released. NASCAR inspected the 31 car and that hood, and what they found was that a bolt that holds on this tether broke. So the immediate response has been to change this bolt from 1/4 inch to 5/16 of an inch. Now, I asked NASCAR President Mike Helton this weekend if the 31 incident could have an effect on NASCAR's policy toward letting damaged cars return to the racetrack.
It's been the NASCAR style, if you will, to allow cars to re-enter after they've been in an accident, as long as they felt like they were okay. And the feel like it's okay is both a function of the race team as well as NASCAR, the officiating process. It started out at Daytona and Talladega, particularly for a safety issue, that we gave teams one opportunity to get back in, and if they couldn't do it in that one opportunity, we loaded them up. And that's helped a lot, but whether or not we need to be more attentive, more restrictive, look for different things, that's something that we learn from every incident.
Now this new 5/16 bolt is also required to hold the cables in place for the deck lid. Winston Cup Series Director John Darby told me this weekend that coming this week, NASCAR will conduct additional tests to try and keep these hoods attached, and we'll discuss that more in the Tropicana 400. Last week, Greg Biffle won the Pepsi 400 using fuel mileage. A year ago, Kevin Harvick won here on fuel mileage. Fuel mileage could be a factor again today, but a new rule in effect has an impact not only on gas, but the gas man. Dave Burns is standing by with a story of how service at the full service pump on pit road is changing.
Well, Bill, 7 crewmen go over the wall to perform a pit stop as quickly as possible. So they choreograph every single move. Now, sometimes they invent ways to move even faster that in NASCAR's view compromise safety. And one of those moves that they made was to toss an empty fuel can. Let me show you what the catch can man used to be able to do. Bill, thank you for the assist here.
Okay, Dave.
Fuel goes in from the gas man. Catch can man would reach over, take the fuel can. As soon as it was empty, lift it up, find his friend over the wall, Marty, throw it to him, thanks buddy, and be able to perform other things on the car, like maybe work on the spoiler a little bit or help do the track bar adjustment if his arm was long enough. But that's a little bit dangerous to throw that over there, and NASCAR said we'd like you to control the can instead. So let me show you what the catch can man will do now. Bill, puts it in, comes over like this. As soon as it's empty, catch can man will take it now and control it. 2 weeks ago, race director David Hoots said there's a loose definition for control, but we don't want you guys tossing him anymore. You might set it down, you might just hang on to it, only 10 pounds empty. But it is a new rule here this weekend, and you won't see any more guys throwing the can back over the wall. Bill?
Thanks, Dave. NASCAR will be watching for that here this afternoon. You know what gets pit reporters in more trouble than anything? Talking about the guys on pit road or the guys back at the shop. My wife goes, what about the women in the sport? Well, a lot of women track the scoring summary. A number of the top PR people in the sport are women. In fact, the feature producer that wrote this lead-in is a woman. Wait a minute. Benny Parsons has the story of one girl that simply wants to be one of the guys.
So where are you from originally?
Jonesville, Louisiana.
Jonesville, Louisiana. So do you have friends or relatives or somebody in the racing business in Charlotte?
No, didn't know anybody when I moved up here.
Well, what possessed you to do that, girl?
I just sort of fell in love with the sport, and I liked cars and hot rods and, you know, anything that was loud or fast.
I mean, check this out. Did you grow up as a tomboy as a young girl?
You could say that.
You climbed trees and played with snakes and frogs?
Horses, beat up the neighborhood boys.
Did you? Just 6 months after she moved to Charlotte, Brienne got the job most men could only dream of, tearing down engines for Dale Earnhardt Incorporated. Big old strong arms like that, though, man. Do you work out?
Sometimes.
Do you? Yo, getting those plugs out look like that's work.
Check the valve lash, leak it down, do a cylinder leakage test on it, cylinder head breakaway torque, check all that.
So this is not just take the thing apart and wash it up and clean it up. I mean, as you take it apart, you have to check everything.
Right.
Wow.
Exactly. At first, the guys really didn't know how to act. They were like, oh, God, you know, a chick working here. Great. And then, you know, they kind of warmed up to me after a while.
Have you thought about being part of the pit crew?
Yeah. I want to be a tire carrier.
Can you throw it up on that hub like you need to?
Yeah.
So maybe one of these days we'll see you on the road as a tire carrier.
Maybe. I think they're scared of me.
What do you mean scared of?
Better not put that in there. Or edit that out.
Thanks, Benny. Still ahead, Wally Dallenbach will take former NFL quarterback Jim McMahon for a ride. And next, after a season that went to the dogs, Kevin Harvick is happy, healthy, and hounding the leaders in the race to the championship.
See, now you can leave him there. Come on. You stay. He won't move till you give him the word.
No, I can't screw him up. If I run, he won't go with me.
No, he won't go nowhere.
He won't go anywhere. You're sure?
Positive. Try to get him to leave.
Indy. Indy. Oh. How much trouble is he in right now?
He's not supposed to get up.
The Discover Card countdown to green continues from Chicagoland. 1 year ago, Kevin Harvick came here 30th in the championship standings. No wins and one did not start after he was flagged by NASCAR for unsportsmanlike conduct and benched at Martinsville. Today, he's 8th in the championship standings, 11th on the grid, and trying to three-peat at Chicagoland. As Dave Burns found out, it's Harvick's life away from the track that has allowed him to keep his temper on a short leash and allow his talent to run free.
He came from Czechoslovakia, and then they taught him German commands because he's bilingual. Platz.
Come on, Eddie. Come on, boy. That's pretty good.
Okay. Shows you who's in charge, Dave.
That's Kevin. When it comes to most encounters with him, there's little doubt who's in control.
Back off, I'll take you on. Headstrong to take on anyone. I know that you are wrong. Headstrong, we're headstrong.
From his smart aleck comments...
Whoa, Kevin Harvick and Kurt Busch get together. He gets one of the crew members.
They need to put a restrictor plate on his foot because obviously his foot doesn't register with his brain.
To a short fuse.
You know, he comes and just rams me in the ass. Pretty much puts us in the fence and ruins a brand new race car. There is no way I'm leaving this racetrack without telling somebody that just intentionally put me into the fence or tried to knock me out of the way how I feel.
What you think you see in Kevin is very much what you get. We also know the jokester side of you and the guy that likes to have fun and just hang out. And
got a bug on you right there.
Oh, yeah, thanks. I'm not going for that.
Harvick trying to hold on. Gordon races to his inside. They touch at the stripe. Kevin Harvick on the outside with a ghost of Dale Earnhardt looking on. Kevin Harvick pulled off one of the all-time upsets in NASCAR history.
It made you, overnight, pretty much a superstar. Mm-hmm. You realize that, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, that one day pretty much has made what we've got today.
But since that big first win, only 2 Winston Cup victories in 84 races. Performance that led to a number of significant crew changes. Are you a demanding person, Kevin? A perfectionist?
No, I think...
What's missing?
I'm not demanding. I mean, I didn't have anything to do with that, to be honest with you. Richard called me on the phone and he said, this is what I'm going to do. It's how you go through the bad times that make you a champion, and how you handle these times will make your career. And if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem, and that's not good.
But if anyone can regain control of his championship form, it's probably going to be that same guy that keeps tight control of his backyard.
He was fully trained in protection and obedience.
Did they give you a manual and say, okay, here's
5 words?
Really? Okay.
Yeah. 1 to lay down, 1 to sit, 1 to bark, 1 to attack, and 1 to bite. He's actually laid into a couple people.
Really? Yeah. On command or accidentally?
Accidentally.
Okay, all right.
It's been a while though, Dave. You don't have to worry.
Well, rarely does a guy get a chance to win 3 times in a row at a track, let alone be the only winner ever. Kevin, here at Chicago, can you do it?
I hope so. Like you say, there's not too many chances when you get the opportunity to win 3 in a row. But we came here and tested, had a good test, unloaded good, qualified decent, and now we just got to hope all the circumstances fall our way. But it's hard to win these Winston Cup races, and we'll just have to see what happens. But Jim Goodwin's car is good, and we'll just go on with it.
All right, Kevin starts 11th. Watch for him from the inside of row 6. Bill?
Thanks, Dave. Elliott Sadler starts 8th. He has finished 17th or worse in 7 of his last 8 races. His teammate Dale Jarrett starts 33rd. He finished 11th here last year and 4th in 2001. Next, Jim McMahon gets a different kind of rush, one that comes from a Winston Cup car.
I got no plan. I just throw my body all over the field. I can't dance, but I can throw the pill. I motivate the cats I like to tease. I play so cool.
The Discover Card countdown rolls on. Dave Blaney had 3 top 10s in the first 5 races, but hasn't had any in the last 12. He starts 9th. Today, 43 drivers trying to tackle this track, a place that has a reputation for delivering some hard hits. But the key to beating your opponent is knowing how to complete a great pass, kind of like the Bears did to bring Chicago a Super Bowl championship. Here's Wally Dallenbach with the secret to quarterbacking a good car.
Well, I want to welcome a special guest to my NBC car, 1985 Super Bowl champ for the Chicago Bears, Jim McMahon. Welcome aboard. Thank you, Wally. Let's get this thing right, I think. Let's go on. And that's the way to start it out, don't you think? You know, I know you never had a handoff at about $1.50. Wait till we get to the line of scrimmage. Handoff! Yeah! Very smooth, very smooth. You never hit a wall at 150 mile an hour, have you? I've hit a few walls, but they weren't going 150. I was going to say, I don't want to hit the walls that hit you.
I'm the punky QB known as McMahon. When I hit the turf, I've got no plan.
Just having too much fun. Just for the record, while those guys are out there, I measure the infield. You could put 4 Soldier Fields in the infield here at Chicagoland. Back out to the grid to Matt.
For the third time in his career, Dale Earnhardt Jr. wears a Major League Baseball All-Star Game special uniform, special paint scheme car. But Tony Jr. says the car is possessed. Good enough, though, to go to victory lane?
Yeah, I guess. It's been a handful all weekend, but we got it kind of dialed in there at the last practice, and hopefully it's still driving the same. You sit there all night long, hardly get any sleep, just wondering what the car's going to do the first corner you go into, and hopefully we got it all right.
He was 10th here last year. He rolls off 16th. Dave?
Well, Bill Elliott has not won yet this season. Bill, here at Chicago, you had a good qualifying run. Can you do it today?
Well, I feel like we got a good shot at it. The Dodge is running awful well, but, you know, there's a lot of good cars. Tony's awful good right now. And, you know, the problem is if you can have a good day, but somebody else is going to have a perfect day, and they're going to be hard to beat.
Now, his teammate may have a good day as well. Jeremy Mayfield's been on a couple of good runs lately. 2 top 10s in the last 2 races. Marty?
Well, Dave, rookie Casey Mears qualified a career best 4th here on Friday. Casey, what are the realistic expectations for today?
Yeah, they're anywhere from, you know, winning the race to, you know, top 20. So, I mean, for us right now, we're just really want to get solid finish. We're happy that we qualified well. Obviously, we'd like to win the race, you know, and we're going to do everything we can to do that. But at the same time, you know, if we finish inside the top 15, top 10 today, we'd be really happy. So hopefully just a good solid run for the Fujifilm Dodge and go out there and run strong and competitive. You know, I think we can do it. We could win this thing. You know, it's just a matter of all the cards falling in the right place. Otherwise, we'll settle for a good finish.
Casey's taking pictures to document his weekend. Take a picture of my cameraman, Mike, as I say, Bill, your turn.
Thanks, Marty. Jeff Burton starts 27th today, his 250th career Winston Cup start. His last victory came in Phoenix in October of 2001. That was 57 races ago. If Burton wins today, it would be his 13th win in the last 4.5 years. He's only 3 points out of 13th in the championship standings. Some people think 13 is an unlucky number, but maybe not for Jeff Burton. Only once in the last 30 years has the Winston Cup Series run on July 13th. That was at Loudon, New Hampshire in 1997. The winner that day, Jeff Burton. Now, you don't have to look it up because we already did. The countdown is at 0, and the Tropicana 400 is next.
This has been the Discover Card Countdown to Green. Let's go racing.
I love the city. That's a place I always look forward to going to. We always hit a Cubs game.
Chicago's been really good to us. I mean, both times we've been there, we've won the race.
I've been in that area for, I think, 5 years racing off-road trucks, and when I hear Chicago's coming up, I'm gonna be looking forward to it.
2, 3, 4!
NBC Sports is live at Chicagoland to bring you the Tropicana 400 for the NASCAR Winston Cup Series. 31-year-old Matt Kenseth leads the championship standings, but once again, he will have to come from deep in the field. He starts 24th. Thanks for joining our NBC race family here in Joliet. Let's get you right upstairs to 3 guys that don't have to worry about the new fueling rules on pit road because they always go to the self-service pump. Alan Bestwick, Wally Dallenbach, and Benny Parsons.
Bill, Wally, and Benny are ready to get their groove on. No dancing, please. I'm talking about the racing groove, the fast lane around the track. As a new super speedway, the racing groove here has been very narrow the first couple of years. What about today? Any better?
It looks real good. The first year, it was only wide enough for about one car. Last year, as we see here, the groove was wide enough for about a car and a half, but this year it's much better. We can have side-by-side racing. It's still going to be a little bit better on the bottom, but I think you're going to see a lot of guys running up top. BP, we saw a little bit of that yesterday.
We saw Michael Waltrip on the top side trying to make a groove for himself, and it looks like that Michael is planning on running 400 miles today on that top groove. Yesterday, there's Michael Waltrip in the 99 car. Look how high he goes. Sometimes yesterday he had all 4 tires up in the gray area. But Tony Stewart is right down next to that white line, and I think if you win the race today, that's where you're going to have to be, on that white line on the bottom of the racetrack.
So you're looking for the bottom feeders today and not the prairie adventurers out there.
That's exactly right. The guys that can stay down on that white line.
All right. Last year, pit strategy played a big role in deciding who won this race. Kevin Harvick spun out with 69 laps to go, came in and made a pit stop after this spin. He never came in again. Even though others behind him had fresher tires, they could not pass him. We'll see how pit road plays into deciding today's winner. NASCAR's race for the championship continues today with the Tropicana 400 at the Chicagoland Speedway. 3 minutes from the command to start engines. Let's go trackside.
And now for today's invocation, here is Kenny Crosswhite of Motor Racing Outreach.
Let's pray. Father, we want to pause briefly and ask for your presence and admit that we need it. Father, we thank you for your provision for our sins. And Father, we thank you for the provision of our needs. And we pray especially today for Panky, our fallen soldier, and his family and friends. Father, we thank you for your protection in our lives, and we ask specifically for that protection here at Chicagoland Speedway for everyone involved. And Father, we ask that at the end of this event, that you would give us an attitude of praise and thanksgiving for who you are and all the things that you do. We ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your hats. And welcome to the stage, Arista recording artist Diamond Rio, 6-time Vocal Group of the Year, as they perform our national anthem.
By the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight for the ramparts we watch were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Thank you, Diamond Rio. And how about a hand for the A-10 from the 110th Fighter Squadron out of Battle Creek, Michigan. And now, ladies and gentlemen, for the most famous words in motorsports, please welcome back Jim Dwyer.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
Set to race 400 miles for over $5 million to the delight of 75,000 fans in this sold-out stadium. The starting lineup and green flag next.
ABC's coverage of the Tropicana 400 is brought to you by Tropicana Pure Premium. Nothing but the juice. Tropicana Pure Premium. By Mobile One, official motor oil of NASCAR. And by Singular, the wireless company that fits you best.
In the Chicago suburb of Joliet, Illinois, some 75,000 have filled every seat at the Chicagoland Speedway for the third running of the Tropicana 400. Field of cars sitting on pit road. They'll be rolling off for their parade and pace lap shortly.
65!
Check out the Bud Pole Award. Tony Stewart won his first pole of the season in Friday qualifying in new track record time, growing the list of drivers qualified for next February's Budweiser Shootout by one more. Since 1979, Anheuser-Busch has paid out more than $8 million as title sponsor of NASCAR's Pole Award program. Field rolling off onto the racetrack. Check out the starting lineup for you for today's Tropicana 400. Tony Stewart, Jeff Gordon, sharing row number 1 in a pair of Chevrolets. A couple of Dodgers in row 2. Bill Elliott, former Winston Cup champion, and the rookie Casey Mears. And while we look through the rest of the starting lineup, Jimmy Johnson's lined up in row 3. He's going to have to drop to the tail of the field because they changed an engine. Wally, you want to try and ring him up?
Let's give him a try. Hey, Jimmy Johnson, this is Wally up at the NBC booth. Can you hear me?
Yep, gotcha.
Well, with all the bad luck you guys have had, you probably didn't want to get out of the motorhome this morning.
Yeah, we've had our share of bad luck, but that's just the way this year's been, and we'll just give what we can. This is racing. You guys know that anything that can happen will happen. But I'm just lucky to have a group of great guys and Hendrick Motorsports behind me in Lowe's. And it doesn't matter. We know what we need to do. We're going to go out fun today and make it interesting from the back.
Watched your car yesterday in final practice, Jimmy. Even after you did the damage to the left front fender, your car looked awfully good. Can you keep this thing on the bottom all day?
Everybody's going to be at the bottom here at the beginning. Hopefully I can get a lane to move around on the top, but the bottom's probably going to be the preferred line, especially early in the run. Hopefully we'll get a second groove and have some fun.
Okay, good luck.
Thank you.
Jimmy Johnson scheduled to start 6th. Because of NASCAR's one engine per weekend rule, will have to drop to the back after they had a little mechanical trouble in Saturday morning practice. Also, Larry Foyt will give up 31st starting position and drop to the rear of the field because of an engine change. There's Larry there in row 16. And Derek Cope, scheduled to start in the 25th position, will also go to the back. He had a final practice crash yesterday, and they had to pull out the backup car.
Robbie Gordon, the winner at Sears Point, back in row 18 alongside Benson, and Ricky Rudd talked to the Wood brothers this morning. Felt very good about their 21 car.
Those who got into the race on provisionals coming past you here. And the final starter in the field, Ken Schrader, who was a tad uncomfortable Friday during qualifying, hoping he was going to make the race. One driver failed to make the show, Jason Keller, in an effort for Chance 2 Racing, the team that Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Teresa Earnhardt own. Not quite able to get into the field. Let's get some stories from pit road while they make the pace and parade laps. Marty, what do you got?
Alan, no one placed a larger red circle on the calendar around this race than Ryan Newman and his bunch. With 15 to go last year in this race, they cut a right front tire while they were leading. Excited to get back here. He brought one of his best cars, the same car that won at Dover. Ryan hoping for another win today, hoping to cash in on a win that is 1 year overdue, according to them. Matt?
Marty, starting in 1999, the Gibbs guys have finished either first or second in the championship points. This year, Coach Gibbs thinks the 18 team has the best chance to keep that streak alive. 75 points out of second coming into Chicago. In fact, Bobby Labonte's been on such a roll. Last 9 races, 6 top 3 finishes. He rolls off 18 today. They have a car just as equal as the pole sitter, Dave.
Well, Matt, on Friday morning, Kurt Busch crashed a very good race car right at Chicagoland, but the worst part was that it happened in the very final practice before qualifying. They had to pull out the backup car and qualify it really without any practice laps on it and could only do 32nd best. Now, I talked to the team this morning. They said they changed more things than they really had time to even talk about, but they said we've got 2 things that no other team has: Kurt Busch and crew chief Jimmy Fennig. Bill?
Dave, it's not just what happens here on pit road, but how you get onto pit road that can affect your finish. In this race 1 year ago, a number of guys had trouble doing just that. This is a very fast racetrack, and the transition to pit road can be very tricky. Guys have to be careful getting on pit road and then careful getting into their stall. Last year, Sterling Marlin came here as the leader in the championship standings, overshot his stall, the car was serviced, he was held, lost a lap. The championship leader finished the first car 1 lap down. What happens here can affect who gets out there to the finish line first. Alan.
Okay, Bill, we're on the final scheduled pace lap, although they have just dispatched a safety vehicle to make a quick inspection of turn number 2. Jeff Gordon's team apparently radioed in, said Jeff was a little concerned about there being some excess dust up in the high lane of turn 2, and since that's where he's going to start on lap 1, he might be the one to be concerned about it.
You see the air temperature here today at 81 degrees, a gorgeous day in the Chicago area. Here in Joliet.
No rain in the forecast, should be a good race, and 267 laps around this 1.5-mile track to make up the 400-mile distance. There's the track inspection going on. Monitoring NASCAR's radio traffic from race control to Buster Otten, the driver of the pace car, and he has just said all clear on his part, and the word is we're coming to the green. So on a track where the second lane has not been all that usable in past years, you're starting in that outside lane. How concerned are you here going barreling off into turn 1?
I don't think you're as concerned as you would have been last year or the first year here, because there obviously the groove that we talked about earlier is wider. There is traction up there. You're still going to be trying to get to the bottom of the racetrack, but I think it's safe up there.
And we see the analysis pit window. That is crucial. If you can run 66, 67 laps, that's okay. If you can only run 60 like some of the teams can, you've got a problem, because this race might be won on fuel mileage.
75,000 on their feet on beautifully sunny skies overhead. We're coming down to the start of the 3rd Tropicana 400 at Chicagoland.
Jeff Gordon made a run for that lead, but it did not work out, and he's losing spots. He's back to 5th. Challenge for 5th.
How about Jeremy Mayfield 3 wide into turn 3 on the bottom and picked up 2 spots at once. Tony Stewart leads lap 1. Bill Elliott 2nd. Jeremy Mayfield 3rd. Casey Mears 4th. Elliott Sadler 5th. Then Jeff Gordon in 6th, and side by side from 7th on back. Here's Gordon on Elliott Sadler for 5th.
On board with Kevin Harvick, back in the 10th position as he tries to close in on Greg Biffle.
Jamie McMurray's been up there on the high line for last couple laps. He seems to be hanging right there.
Jamie McMurray, one of 11 drivers who ran yesterday's NASCAR Busch Series race here, and is also in the field for today's race. That's McMurray in the 42.
And he just took the spot on the high side.
Well, that's impressive. Now he's going to track Gordon on the outside. Oh, Mark Martin slow in the 6th car.
Was 13th last lap by, BP.
Still running, not coming to pit lane.
And the car looks like it's up to speed. He might have slipped off turn 2.
19th now, lost 6 spots that lap.
Now, we talked about if you got out of the groove, there isn't a whole lot of traction up there, and it takes a little bit to get those tires cleaned back off if you do get in the marbles.
He got out of the gas early there to let Rusty by.
Yeah, evidently there's something that Mark doesn't like about that 6 car right now.
Heard a lot of guys talking in the garage this morning that I spoke with about loose getting in, that this racetrack is well noted for it, and it's extremely uncomfortable. Talk about that.
It's terrifying on a racetrack like this, because you drive in so fast, you're carrying so much speed here as we watch the mile per hours. I mean, 194, 195 mile an hour. And when you jump out of the gas, the car wants to turn sideways. So you got to be very careful when you get in the corners. You do everything you can to tighten that car up getting in. But you don't want to get it too tight, because this car, the racetrack is one of those tracks where if you get it too tight, getting in the corner, you can't even turn coming up off the corner.
Marty, what's going on with Mark Martin?
Well, Mark said nothing on the radio, BP. Ben Leslie's best guess is that the car was just a little loose. I asked if that was sticker tires that he started the race with, they are indeed scuff tires. A lot of times when you have sticker tires on, especially here at a racetrack like Chicagoland, it's a little bit slick, but he does have on scuff tires. Ben just thinks the car's a little loose right now.
Jimmy Spencer, 7 car, getting the spot on Jeff Green in the 1. That'll be 16th place, and here comes Rusty Wallace in the deuce.
Talked to Bill Weber and the crew chief on the 2 car this morning, and they made a landmark decision this weekend. Rusty Wallace is running a heavier right rear spring than he's ever raced in his life. They finally got Rusty to stiffen up that right rear, trying to keep that spoiler up in the air, also trying to help the car come off the corner. Takes him that wedge out of the car coming off the corner.
Looking back on Rusty from Jimmy Spencer's car. And again, that is 16th and 17th places now. And Kenseth right behind them. And up ahead, McMurray's got it going on. 42 car picking up 4th place. Started in 10th. Check his lap times here. He looks like he's really flying.
Well, he had to pass somebody that lap, so.
Yeah. 99 and 1, Jeff Burton and Jeff Green, respectively. This is 19th and 20th positions. Burton talked to us during our coverage of the NASCAR Busch Series race yesterday here on NBC. Felt like his team really beginning to turn a corner after struggling for a lot of this season.
Struggled all last year, so it's been a 1.5-year struggle for the 99 car. But yes, they are very optimistic that they have turned the corner and things are starting to turn around for the 99.
So Matt Kenseth get by the Spencer car. Now Jeff Burton getting by Spencer. And next to fill the hole to the inside, Jeff Green in the 1. Fair to say Spencer's struggling a little bit there. Jimmy started 21st, and he gained a few positions in the opening laps. He's about shuffled back to where he began. As always, during our NASCAR on NBC coverage, if something happens while we're in a break, we'll come out immediately right back to the racetrack and show it to you live. For now, you're watching NASCAR on NBC. Here's the Wendy's race menu as we come back to Chicagoland Speedway. The next couple of weeks, the Winston Cup action is on TNT. Next Sunday, New Hampshire International Speedway, new pavement there. And then the 2.5-mile Pocono Raceway in Pennsylvania the following week. Then it's on to Indianapolis for the Brickyard 400 and the road course in Watkins Glen as we follow the race for the championship on NBC and TNT. Tony Stewart started on pole, has led all of the 16 laps that have been run so far today. The defending NASCAR Winston Cup champion, seeking his 2nd win of 2003. He's out in front by 0.6 of a second over Bill Elliott. And Jeremy Mayfield, Jamie McMurray, and Casey Mears make up the rest of the top 5. Just outside the top 5, Jeff Gordon, who started the race on the outside of the front row, has fallen back to the 6th position, a little over 6 seconds behind the leader. We talked that. All right, come back to that in a second. Those of you at home who bought specially marked packages of Tropicana Pure Premium, you should have received a lap number from TropicanaRacing.com. Remember that lap number throughout the race. If Jeff Gordon records his fastest lap today on your lap number, you'll be entered into a drawing to become part of Jeff Gordon's pit crew on the 2004 Tropicana 400. Maybe you can pass in his Tropicana through the window.
Well, that's pretty interesting.
We talked when Matt Yoakum interviewed Jeff Gordon during Discover Card Countdown to Green. He mentioned, Jeff, how are you feeling? Jeff had been ill earlier this week. I spoke with Jeff at the driver's meeting a couple of hours before green flag time. I said, what was wrong? He said, fever, kind of flu symptoms. Now he's just got a little chest congestion. But see, he said he was running a heck of a fever earlier this week, and about Tuesday was really not feeling very well at all.
Yeah, it's fortunate he had 5 days to recuperate and get some fluids inside of him because he didn't feel like he could do a race on Tuesday.
But the thing is, when you're sick and you get in one of these race cars, you actually forget about it. It actually helps when you get one of these cars because that's the last thing you think about, and you sweat it out.
Yep.
Get that adrenaline going, it becomes the prominent thing.
And there's the three-peat contender behind him, Kevin Harvick there. Now check back on Jimmy Johnson. Remember, we talked with him on the pace laps. Dropped to the end of the field after the engine change. He's made nice progress.
He's taking 25th spot right there if he can pull it off from Kurt Busch, and does it.
And you see the gap from Jimmy Johnson up to Tony Stewart. 19, almost 20 seconds behind in their relative positions on the racetrack. That's something a lot of guys were concerned about this morning with Tony Stewart having such a fast car in yesterday's practice, was if we got a long green flag run at the start of the race, him putting an awful lot of people a lap down.
And that's going to happen because Tony Stewart is not that far in lapping cars. Christian Fittipaldi is now 30 seconds behind. In a couple laps, he'll be lapped.
And so Jimmy Johnson's got to keep the whip out on that horse to keep from being caught from behind and put a lap down by Tony Stewart.
The thing is, too, don't forget, Jimmy Johnson's going through traffic, and Tony Stewart's had a clean racetrack the whole time. So Tony Stewart's going to have to pass all these guys that Jimmy Johnson just passed. So Jimmy can just maintain that pace he's going. I think he'll be all right.
Johnson's last lap was a 31.78, and the leader's was a 31.40. So he was about 0.3 off Tony Stewart's time in that traffic. Tony Stewart out in front. He's increased his advantage over Bill Elliott to 1.2 seconds. 22 of 267 laps complete in the Tropicana 400. Chicagoland Speedway, NASCAR on NBC bringing you the Tropicana 400, third running of this event at this mile-and-a-half track, 920 acres, about an hour's drive south of the Loop in Chicago. And the man who's having the easiest drive right now is Tony Stewart, the race leader. How about the old Aflac trivia quiz? Saw rookie Greg Biffle win at Daytona last week. Who was the last rookie to win back-to-back NASCAR Winston Cup races?
Okay, folks, we'll give you 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. There he is. Tony Stewart, Phoenix and Homestead back in 1999. That was impressive. Actually, rookie winning 2 in a row.
Actually capped off his rookie year by winning 2 of the last 3 races in '99. Michael Waltrip and Joe Nemechek racing for 11th and 12th positions. Mikey exploring the upper ground like he did all day yesterday.
Now that's a real shock. The 15-car Michael Waltrip being up in the high groove. He loves to run up there.
Joe Nemechek started in 17th position. So he's moved up about a handful of spots. Michael Waltrip started in the 12th position and has pretty much held ground.
That's pretty even.
Yeah.
Dale Earnhardt Incorporated in the blue car. Hendrick Motorsports in the red and black. We'll give that one to Joe. So Nemechek to 11th and Michael Waltrip back to 12th. I can't imagine yesterday, even here today, the first time that Michael decided to say, okay, everybody else is running the bottom, I'm going to go to the top, that he wasn't real white knuckle when he went off into that corner the first time, you know?
Yeah, I would think. He probably had, and a couple times it probably took once or twice to find where the top was. Because, you know, it's hard to see where those marbles are.
As I said earlier, I think a couple of times yesterday he went way beyond the top. Was up in that gray area.
Derek Cope has retired his car from the event. Transmission failure. He'll be the first one out today. This thing's pretty settled in, and so what we're going to do is take a break here, come back and take you through the field, get updates from pit road on where all your favorites are running. Coming up on 50 miles in the Tropicana 400 in Chicagoland on NBC.
A sun-splashed afternoon at the Chicagoland Speedway in Joliet, Illinois, and Tony Stewart out for a Sunday drive. Started from the pole looking for his second win of the season and lapping cars here early in the race. In the garage area this morning, they said he would be the man to beat. Right now, he's simply the man to catch. Outstanding run for Tony Stewart. Let's take you through the field. We're halfway on this fuel load. We'll start with the leader of the race, Tony Stewart, and Matt Yocum.
Tony Stewart living up to those pre-race expectations on a feverish pace as the car's a little bit free, but doesn't want to mess with it. He feels like the racetrack's coming to him. That quick pace is starting to lap cars. The one good thing, he lapped John Andretti, the team that's pitting right in front. He'll have an easy entry and easy exit, Marty.
Somewhere back there behind Tony Stewart is Bill Elliott, the 9 car in second place. A little free in, a little tied off. Bill has his spotter, Tim Fedua. Where is Tony beating me? He said he's beating you by his arc into the corner. A little more of that, we'll catch him. Well, Bill,
Jamie McMurray moving forward in this field right now. They're telling him everybody's staying on the bottom, that his lap times are good, but Jamie has told his team that the car is tight now in the center and off the turn. So moving forward, but the car not totally to his liking. Marty.
Bill, so far, rookie Casey Mears is doing a good job. Started fourth, in the fourth position right now. They told him on the radio, the only car catching you is the 24 of Jeff Gordon. Keep doing what you're doing. A little loose to start the race with. He said the front end is sticking better now, but the rear end still just a little bit loose, Matt.
Jeff Gordon said back on lap 10 that he just couldn't get the back end of the race car in the racetrack. Way too free. The car now, though, is starting to tighten up, he said on lap 37, but I don't know if that will be enough to catch anybody, Bill.
Good run for Jeremy Mayfield. Started fifth, has fallen back a little bit in the last few laps because his car is starting to get a little bit tight. Jeremy Mayfield is optimistic about the second half of this season because he believes his team is finally hitting its stride.
That's what you got to do. You got to start running good, better and better every week, and I think that's what a lot of people have seen out of this race team the last 6 weeks, and certainly Dodge has done their part to give us all the resources we need, so it'd be great to win for them and all the Dodge dealers out there in UAW and all of them, but this race team needs to win more than anything, and just be able to be in victory lane with these guys, knowing how hard they worked and what all we've come through is pretty neat.
Jeremy stopped me in the garage at Daytona last week and said, we're going to give you guys something to talk about in the second half. That could start today, although he continues to lose positions as they close in on their first pit stop. Marty.
Bill, Kevin Harvick started 11th, as you saw, just past Jeremy Mayfield, up into the 6th position right now. He didn't say a word until lap 38, just a few laps ago. He started the race a little bit loose. Now the car is just a little bit tight, but his times have fallen off about 3/10 during this run, Matt.
Ryan Newman started 14th, has climbed all the way up to 8th. He finished second in yesterday's IROC race. Feels like a second groove will come in. Right now, though, he says he's losing the nose of the race car, chattering the front tires a bit. If it stays green, they should pit around lap 65, Bill.
Groovy look once again this week for Elliott Sadler. Car not totally to his liking, though. Going to try and improve the handle on it a little bit when they come in, starting to get tight in the center of the turns. That's the story on the 38. Upstairs to Allen.
All right, Bill, 45 laps complete now, and the leader, Tony Stewart, has got a 3.1 second gap on this race for second place.
Not much of a race. Jamie McMurray, the 42 car, caught Bill Elliott, and by him he goes down in turn 1.
Tony Stewart has led all of the laps so far. He has overtaken up to 30th place Ward Burton and put him a lap down. And Joe Nemechek's got troubles.
He's slow off turn 2.
Coming in, it's not getting any better. It's got a broken damn valve or something.
Broken.
Show you guys.
An engine problem in the 25 car.
Spark plug wires, but I smell oil in here.
That's not good.
No, it's not good at all.
Yeah,
So Nemechek to the attention of Peter Suspenzo and his crew at lap 46 with troubles on Rick Hendrick's 25.
That blue smoke is a terrible looking smoke.
Yeah, that doesn't look too good.
So there's the leader, Tony Stewart. 3.5 seconds to now second place Jamie McMurray. We've taken you through the top 10, through the top 9 actually, and we continue to go through the field. Matt, how about Dale Jr.?
Rounding out the top 10 is Dale Jr. running right where he finished last year in the 10th position. Jr. says the car is rolling over on the right front pretty good, but don't plan on adjusting it too much. He says the car is snug in the center as well, Bill.
Rusty Wallace's car just a little bit tight. You heard Benny talk about how they're trying to teach Rusty some new habits by freeing up this car just a little bit. It has tightened up on him. He should pit around lap 64. As for the 15 of Michael Waltrip, this car hasn't been very good to them all weekend. In fact, they weren't very good in the Busch race yesterday, so they didn't learn much from that. Michael is skating his right front tire. They'll try and make a chassis adjustment to improve that. The 99 team moving forward, as Jeff Burton talked about yesterday, but its crew chief Paul Andrews this morning said they're not making strides as fast as they had hoped. But this is 250 career starts for Jeff Burton. A top 10 today might be as good as a win. Dave?
Bill Matt Kempis running right behind his teammate Jeff Burton. We monitored his radio just moments ago and heard this. This morning I talked with crew chief Robbie Reiser, and he told me that the car looked great in practice yesterday. The nose really stayed planted to the ground. It looked good all the way around this racetrack, and he loved the handling of this car. Now, Jimmy Johnson started at the back. We talked about that with motor problems. He's made his way up through the field, and I talked to his crew chief this morning, Chad Knaus. He said we made big changes, but not because the car was bad, but to keep up with this racetrack. Jimmy Johnson now going through the field himself, making his way to the front. Marty?
Well, Dave, after falling back into the 20s, Mark Martin has rallied his way back to the 16th position. The car tight for Mark Martin right now. Pound out of the right front. They'll also take some wedge out of the car, trying to loosen him up just a bit. But he's not falling off like other cars are falling off. Bill?
Jeff Green started 15th in this race, pretty much holding on to that vicinity on the racetrack. They're probably a little bit disappointed through this first run, but had to feel out the car. The car was fast in both practice sessions yesterday. And happy hour, they tried to make some improvements, but it actually slowed down the car, so they went back to their earlier setup. Marty?
Bobby Labonte says his car is extremely loose out on the racetrack right now. Says he can't even get a feel for how the car is because it's so loose. So he has fallen back a little bit in the field, now in the 18th position. Actually, that's where he started, Dave.
Marty, I talked with Booty Barker, crew chief for Dave Blaney, and he said yesterday we made it go, but then it bottomed out. When we raised it up, it wouldn't go. Right now, it's tight in the center of the corner. Well, Greg Biffle has moved his way from the front to the back, unfortunately.
Bill Elliott is on pit road. This is an unscheduled stop. Has to be an unscheduled stop for Elliott.
It's only 52 laps in. That's well short of what he should go on fuel. Marty?
Actually, this is a scheduled stop for Bill Elliott. They are a little short on fuel mileage today, but they didn't think it would be this bad. I just talked to Mike Ford. He said we're going to have to come even earlier than I thought we would have to. His car just a little bit tight. He is happy with the chassis. They do make one air pressure adjustment and one wedge adjustment for Bill Elliott. 4 tires and a little long time on the left rear there for Bill Elliott. Loses a lot of track position here on pit road.
Man, oh man, 52 laps, and some of these cars may be able to run 68, 70 laps.
I remember Kevin Harvick ran 69 laps at the end of last year's race, and that allowed him to go to victory lane. Tony Stewart continuing to set him up and knock him down. He's put Ward Burton, Jack Sprague, and now Johnny Benson. A lap down, Benson running in 26th position. Stewart's led them all so far. Pit stops will begin shortly. We'll come back to Chicagoland Speedway in a moment.
NBC's coverage of the Tropicana 400 is brought to you by Budweiser. The best things in life are the things that are true, Budweiser. By Discover to Go, it pays to discover. By Pizza Hut, the DVD's on us when you buy a large pizza, only from Pizza Hut. And by Napa Auto Parts. Napa, get the good stuff.
Tony Stewart is continuing to lead the Tropicana 400 at Chicagoland Speedway. He has led every one of the 59 laps that have been completed so far. Getting to see some of the front runners trickle onto pit road now, mostly driving one brand of car.
The Dodges are thirsty right now.
It's unbelievable. We saw Bill Elliott make a pit stop in the 9 car just before the commercial break, and I think since then, every Dodge has been in the pits. Here's Jimmy Johnson, Dave.
A Chevrolet in the pits as well, BP. They knew they were not going to get good fuel mileage. I knew that this morning when I talked to Chad, the crew chief. 4 tire change for Jimmy Johnson. Tight through the center. They're going to make an air pressure adjustment to try to fix that. Matt.
And leader Tony Stewart on his way down to his pit stop for service. The 43 team stopped by to find out when Tony was going to pit so they would not be in his way on exit. Tony comes to a stop. Said the car was loose early, but then it started to tighten up. He definitely did not want to make any adjustments on the Home Depot Chevrolet as little Mike Lingerfeld already hits the lugs on the left front. You can see the handoff on the gas cans, the new rule like we talked about at the Discover Countdown to Green. And Tony Stewart is down and away. Meanwhile, the 24 car, Jeff Gordon, on his way in. We told you that. See where he's already in. The cans up in the air. They made an air pressure adjustment. His car just not to his liking.
Kevin Harvick is now the leader. Robbie Gordon, Kyle Petty, Jack Sprague, Greg Biffle, Rusty Wallace also leaving pit road after just making stops. Talked about the Dodges coming in. We saw Bill Elliott stop at lap 52. 2 laps later, Jeremy Mayfield, Ward Burton, Casey Mears, all Dodges stopped. Then Jamie McMurray and Sterling Marlin and Jimmy Spencer came in at lap 56. Then we started to see a lot of the General Motors and Ford cars begin to sprinkle onto pit road.
And Matt Kenseth the championship points leader on pit road, Dave.
And they're going to take rubber out of the left rear, Benny. That car is a little bit tight. That should loosen up a little bit. Car bobbling as he came in. Can't believe he was that close on fuel, but he might be. He keeps it fired. They fill it full of fuel. They're going to put 4 fresh tires on there. They are going to give him sticker tires, and they told Matt that because they're just a little bit slicker. Marty?
Bobby Labonte's been a little frustrated on the radio, Matt. Most of these cars today are tight. They're getting tighter the longer they run, but Bobby has stayed loose this entire run. They make an air pressure adjustment. They also make a chassis adjustment on Bobby Labonte's car. It'll be 4 tires. They put 1 round down on the track bar. Long time on the left front for Bobby Labonte, Matt.
And Dale Earnhardt Jr. cuts off to his pit. He said he felt like he had a vibration. They came a lap to 2 laps earlier than expected. Junior's team making an air pressure adjustment in both front tires. Down 1 pound. The car was tight. Traffic, especially in traffic, not as bad by itself. And the 97 car and Junior will battle off pit road. 97 service complete.
Mark Martin is in, Ryan Newman is in, Jeff Burton, Elliott Sadler, Dale Jarrett on pit road along with Jeff Green. Kyle Petty coming at your left of screen is serving a drive-through penalty for speeding entering pit road on his stop. Bill?
4 tires, chassis adjustment for Elliott Sadler. His car's tight in the middle. He's on his way.
And now the leader, Kevin Harvick, is in. Hands the lead over to Michael Waltrip as the 2-time defending winner of the Tropicana 400 heads to his crew. Marty?
Yeah, Allen undefeated here at Chicago for Kevin Harvick, but team still came here and tested. They want to win 3 in a row very badly. Kevin's pretty happy with the race car right now, just a little bit tight. What they did is took a ½ pound out of both front tires. That should loosen it up just a bit, especially getting into the corner. 4 tires for Harvick, and he leaves pit road.
Steve Clark also getting service as Harvick drives by and rejoins the race. Now here comes the leader, Michael Waltrip, in, along with Ken Schrader, Kenny Wallace, and Todd Bodine. That's going to give the lead back to Tony Stewart as Waltrip stops. Bill?
Good long fuel run for Michael Waltrip on pit road after 65 laps. Remember, he was skating the front tires, so they're going to make a chassis adjustment. 4 tires and fuel, but keep the fuel mileage in mind. They hold the gas can, and then Michael's on his way.
Penalty for Bobby Labonte, leaving the pit box with equipment. Stop and go penalty.
What did he take? What did he take with him? You know?
We'll find out. So Labonte rejoins. That's going to hurt, especially under the green flag.
Yeah.
Bobby is 4th in the championship entering this race, 255 points behind leader Matt Kenseth. So Tony Stewart leads, Jamie McMurray is 2nd, Bill Elliott is 3rd. Here is the race for 4th and 5th between Casey Mears in the green 41 and Kevin Harvick in the black and silver 29.
And Kevin Harvick, that 29 car, slowly marching towards the front.
It was on Bobby Labonte's car, it was a wedge adjustment wrench that went with him out of the box and fell off at the end of pit road. Can't take the equipment out of the box. So, first round of pit stops are over with. We're just past 100 miles in the Tropicana 400. Tony Stewart dominating the race so far. You're watching NASCAR on NBC. They love their racing here at Chicagoland. This racetrack sold out yesterday, today. 75,000 here to see the Tropicana 400, thus far being dominated by Tony Stewart. How about singular race talk? What do you think? Take a little poll today? Okay. Saw Greg Biffle get his first NASCAR Winston Cup win last week. A lot of guys have gotten that first win, and the second one has been kind of hard to come by. So I want to know who you think will be the first driver of this group to get his second Winston Cup win. Elliott Sadler, Greg Biffle, Jamie McMurray, Johnny Benson.
Can I vote?
Sure.
Okay, I don't want to sway. I will write it down, and we'll later on when we get the poll, we'll find out if I was correct or not.
Okay.
That's what I was going to pick.
Okay, you're going to pick the same one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Luke, I have noted your answers. Okay. I will be the authoritative accounting source on this.
Which I don't think that means anything to anyone.
And Junior goes by Jeff Gordon, takes over the 7th spot. I talked to Tony Urey, the crew chief on this car this morning. Pops said that they were junk. Not very good. Pops going forward.
Rusty Wallace close around Elliott Sadler. That kind of looked like a wave through.
Definitely.
Rusty's car, a little different paint job this weekend. That's the Goo Goo Dolls. Across the hood of that car. Rusty introduced them at the show at the Metro in Chicago last night.
They're your favorites?
Oh, yeah, that's my favorite group.
No banjos.
No banjos in that group.
Lead lap now, we've got 19 of the 43 starters. It's been a blistering pace set by Tony Stewart in this one. Rusty Wallace not having a bad run. He started 22nd. He's up to 9th. Talked about your conversation with Billy Wilburn this morning, Rusty's crew chief, Benny. I had that same conversation with him apparently at a separate time, and he said they really are beginning to feel optimistic and turn a corner, that they're catching on to some things that they need to be on to run fast.
And they're going to do some testing to follow up on the changes they've made this week, and they feel like that they're going to be stronger and stronger as the year wears on.
Not to dig too deep into the technical barrel, but what?
We have a battle for the lead. I don't know if anybody's noticed but me, but Jamie McMurray, that 42 car, is running much faster than Tony Stewart, and there he is right behind him. Last time by, was a quarter of a second faster than Tony Stewart.
His was one of those names on that pole just a minute ago, wasn't it?
I noticed that, yeah.
Okay. Last lap by, McMurray ran a 31.50. Tony Stewart ran a 31.78. So Jamie closed it in a big hurry. McMurray's first NASCAR Winston Cup win, that memorable victory substituting for Sterling Marlin at the Lowe's Motor Speedway Charlotte last fall.
Matt, what's going on with Tony Stewart?
Well, he's got that 42 car starting to fill his mirror. In fact, he asked his spotter, Mark Robertson, he said, I can see the 42 is closing. What line is he running? Is he right on the bottom or is he up high? And Mark said, he is about a lane and a half higher than you are. He says, all right, I may have to keep that in mind. I may have to try to just jump up there and see how well that works for my car.
I'll have to wait and see that. Tony Stewart to move off the bottom of the racetrack?
Very unusual.
Not going to happen.
These two have 7.5 seconds on third place Bill Elliott, so it's a two-car race for the front spot right now.
And I think that's one reason that Jamie McMurray has been able to catch Tony Stewart is they're lapping traffic. As they get in traffic and Tony has to move up the racetrack to go by these cars, I think it slows him down more than it does the 42 of McMurray.
Yeah, it seems like Jamie can use that outside line to pass the slower traffic, where Tony's got to work the bottom line. He's up there.
He is up there.
Bill, what's happening?
Hang on, caution. I was silent there for so long as I was monitoring radio traffic between NASCAR Race Control and the flag stand and some spotters on pit road. They spotted something a couple of 100 yards past the start-finish line on the apron of the racetrack, and they were trying to figure out what it was, whether it was a danger or not to the race cars, and they decided to put the caution flag out, go pick it up, and make sure.
Well, Tony Stewart in the 20 and the 42 of McMurray certainly did not want to see this caution flag with a 7-second lead, and
that's what it is.
And
whatever it is.
Whatever it is, it could be just a piece of tape, but I agree with NASCAR. They had not much of a choice but to go out and pick it up and see what it is.
So first caution of the race, lap 82. We should see everybody on pit road here. Do we see people taking two tires? They were just in 20, 23 laps ago.
I bet you 48 car takes two tires.
I bet he does too, and tries to get that track position, get in front, because I think his car is probably as fast as these if he can get that track position.
Jimmy Johnson, I've been watching his times, and he is flying right now. So if he can get that track position, he could be tough.
Well, we'll see. Johnson is running at 12th place right now, coming into the stops. Bill, you're up first.
And they talked about putting two tires on Jamie McMurray's car, but they're going to keep the balance and put 4 scuffed tires that were broken in yesterday. Scuffed tires. Now one tire rolls away. That's going to cost them time perhaps here on the pit stop. Car's just a little bit free. Marty.
Bill Elliott on the bottom of your screen, a little bit too loose in. He said, guys, we went the wrong way on that last chassis adjustment. A pound in the right front tire for Bill, Matt.
A 2-tire change for Tony Stewart, an air pressure adjustment in the right front. He said the car was just too free at the beginning of the run, the first third of the run. Dave?
Points leader Matt Kenseth came on pit road, took 2 tires. They took a small spring rubber out of the right rear. The car had gone very, very loose on him. 2 tires only for Kenseth.
Jimmy Johnson did get just right side tires along with several others. We'll reset it for you when we come back to Chicagoland. Jeff Burton's crew picked up 20 grand in competition last week at Daytona as part of the McDonald's drive-through pit championship fueled by Powerade. Among participating teams who spend the least amount of time on pit road, they get 20 grand a week, competing for 200 grand at the end of the year.
Attaboy. Now, those guys that go across the wall that make these great pit stops, they should be rewarded. I applaud McDonald's for doing that, and 200 grand at the end of the year. That's serious money. I might have to go down and try to be a gas man or something on our half the season that we don't work.
Just remember, you can't throw the catch can or the gas can anymore. Dave discovered that for us.
That's right. Maybe I won't be a gas man.
Jeff Burton, you see there, running in 16th position after his stop. We talked about Bobby Labonte getting penalized for his first pit stop under green. Check out what happened at the end of it.
See the handle right there? He's grabbing it, he's turning it, but he cannot get it out. He does get it out.
Trying to pick up that fuel can. Oh, and the wrench gets away.
Well, that gas can really caused a problem for him. Trying to pick up the gas can, left the wrench.
And so it's left Bobby Labonte way behind.
22nd spot, a lap down.
Yep.
There we see the restart line. Right there. That's in the area of that restart line is where the leader may restart. Harvick chooses to nail the gas a little bit late and gets a good jump by doing that.
It's Jack Sprague, the first car to the inside, trying to get a lap back from the leader.
And here's the big advantage like Harvick's got right now. He cleared those slower cars, and watch how much he'll pull out while those other guys are fighting up on the outside trying to clear the lap cars.
0 is Sprague. Yellow car, 77 is Dave Blaney. He's also a lap down, 20th position. And the orange car of Tony Stewart is the second place man trying to find a way around to stay up with Harvick.
Now Ryan Newman is in third place, who ran so strong here last year at Chicagoland Speedway. There he goes by on the outside of Cherry Labonte.
Now, most of the front runners got just right side tires on their pit stops. Let's recap that for you. Harvick, Stewart, Newman, Earnhardt Jr., Casey Mears there in the 41. Rusty Wallace, Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson, Matt Kenseth, Michael Waltrip, all just right side tires on their stop. Bill Elliott back in 11th place is the first one of the full service guys, if you will.
We were on board with Mark Martin. He is a lap down back in 23rd spot, following Rusty Wallace, who is in 7th spot. There's Jimmy Johnson just behind Mark Martin. Ooh, Johnson getting a challenge. Of course, that's on the inside.
Dave, what's going on with that 48 car? It looks awfully good.
Well, they love this car. This is the same car that ran at Vegas and California so well, even though it crashed. But it's the second one that came out of their shop this year, according to Chad Knaut's crew chief. And yesterday, when it hit Johnny Benson in happy hour and crinkled that left front fender, you would have thought that would have been the end of its fast laps. Well, they beat it out. It still went very, very fast. Not the fastest lap of the afternoon, but it was very, very quick. They've smoothed it over, and now it's even better. Bill?
Jeremy Mayfield started 5th, ran at the front of the pack. Trouble? What's going on?
Car in the wall, turn 4. Larry Foyt.
Got one in the fence behind you. One in the fence behind you. Caution is.
The caution flag is out. And Foyt drops down off the track into the grass and out of harm's way.
I tell you what, when they have a caution flag and these cars bunch up, it's so hard to stay off each other, and pretty soon we have another caution flag. And all of a sudden, some cars are going to get, Tony Stewart's going to let some cars, oh, Harvick's not going to let him back in the lead. I forgot that Harvick had taken the lead and Sprague had passed Stewart. I said, well, he's going back in the lead lap, but I looked up and had the wrong leader.
Larry Foyt out of Houston, Texas, started 31st.
He just got up. Well, it's hard to tell. It happened way back, getting in at turn 3. I don't know if he got a little bit high and lost the BP or if he got some help. We just kind of saw it. You can see the tire marks went way back. It started on the entry at 3, it looks like.
And what's been a very tough rookie Winston Cup season for Larry Foyt doesn't get any easier today here in Chicagoland. Beautiful day here in Joliet, Illinois at the Chicagoland Speedway, where NBC Sports brings you live coverage of the Tropicana 400, the 18th race of the NASCAR Winston Cup season. Under caution for the second time in the race, here's the answer to our singular race talk poll. Your responses: who will get their second Winston Cup race first among this group? And I will verify that both Benny and Wally wrote down C.
Jamie McMarion. Because I thought he was going to win today there for a long time. And he might still.
Not in bad shape yet. Talked about Larry Foyt bringing out the caution flag moments ago and what might have caused this spin and crash.
That's definitely loose.
I just think he gets loose getting in the corner. And talking to the drivers down there today, Wally, the driver has to be so precise with the rear gearing and everything getting in the corner, and it's easy to get that car out of shape.
We'll keep throwing that term loose around. How about we dive into the Home Depot Virtual Garage?
Here we go. Getting down on the corner. Now, if you watch the tires, when the green is good, that means green. All the tires are working the same. But when you see those tires turn red, that means they're not grabbing the racetrack, and the car wants to slide up the racetrack. It wants a fishtail. And that's what happened to Larry Foyt when he drove down into turn 3. Those tires lost grip. And when you're losing grip, getting into the corner as well as turning the wheels down to the left.
Around it goes. Backs in the fence and
end of the day.
End of the day.
And ends up about 4 feet shorter than it started. Larry did climb from the car, as you saw, and has gone for the mandatory trip to the infield medical center. Matt?
Well, on his way down pit road, Tony Stewart made the call that he wanted to do 2 tires on that lap 83 stop. When they were done with service on the right side, the Jackman ran around the front. Zippy's yelling, go, go, go. Tony was basically asleep at the wheel. That 1.5 seconds, the 2 seconds he lost, basically not jumping into the gas, gave the lead to the 29. In fact, Tony keyed the mic halfway down pit road, said, driver mistake. Real nice, driver, real nice. He told the guys he was sorry for sleeping, but the car is still very good. A little free, though, at the beginning.
Once again, there's our restart line. Somewhere in the area of that restart, the leader may jump on the gas.
Flag, green flag.
Like Harvick about that time, about on the line.
And again, it's the 0 of Jack Sprague, the first car 1 lap down, trying to stay in contact with the leaders and hope that he might find a way around and get back on the lead lap. Sprague is in 19th position. 18 cars on the lead lap. Tony Stewart has led 78 of the 95 laps so far, but it's Kevin Harvick who's out in front now. 5 car, Terry Labonte, also 1 lap down. He's in 20th place. 3rd place cars next in line, the white and blue 12 of Ryan Newman.
Labonte in the 5 gets by Sprague. So does Newman.
Now let me mention under that caution flag, Will Elliott, Jeremy Mayfield, Sterling Marlin, and Robbie Gordon all came down pit road for stops. Those lead lap cars, plus some cars a lap down, including Ricky Craven, Steve Park, Dale Jarrett, Mike Wallace, Jimmy Spencer, Kyle Petty, Johnny Sauter, Christian Fittipaldi, and Ken Schrader all pitted under that caution again, even though they just stopped 9 laps earlier.
It's like Jeff trying to take the spot away from Casey.
These guys have been pretty close all day. I think the last time we had, Sprague getting a little loose off turn 2. That's Sprague in the net 0 car.
I think the 18 car had his bumper right up against that 0 car.
Helped him loose a little bit?
Yes.
24 Jeff Gordon now up to 5th spot. Casey Mears gets kicked back to 6th. And this whole line of cars mixed in with the lap cars and lead lap cars you know, we talk about track position. It's why it's so important to be up front, because now if you restart 5th in line, you're actually 10th deep in the pack on the Speedway. Marty?
Sterling Marlin's kind of fallen back in the field a little bit, Alan. They had to make 2 stops during that last caution flag because of the fact something was rubbing the right front tire. It turned out to be a brake duct. And what happened this morning, yesterday in practice, Sterling was bottoming out going into turn 1 especially. So they moved some suspension parts around, and that caused the brake duct to rub on the tire. Could have caused a big problem later in the race, but it's now fixed. Dave?
Well, Matt, thankfully, Larry Foyt walks under his own power out of the infield care center. How are you?
I'm okay. I hate it for Harris. You know, we had a lot of people here today and had a good car qualifying and blew up yesterday. Had to change the motor, so I kept telling them I was loose, and that's about the 4th time I wrecked. I just saved it the other times, and that time I just couldn't save it.
Sometimes that'll happen, guys, and unfortunately the 4th one bit him.
Larry Foyt joining Joe Nemechek and Derek Cope as the 3 drivers retired from the race.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. It's so difficult to drive a car that's loose getting in, especially a place like here.
Got a slow race for the lead going on here.
Yes, we do. Looks like if Kevin Harvick, that 29 car, is going to three-peat, win his 3rd straight race here at Chicagoland, he's going to have to reckon with Tony Stewart in the 20. There's a battle. Jimmy Johnson marching his way towards the front. That is the battle for the 6th position.
He may have to reckon with that 48 before the day's over, too, Kevin Harvick.
I believe he will.
And the 42 of Jamie McMurray. Burns, what's going on with 48?
Well, they made a track bar adjustment to try to fix a tied-off condition, and it appears to be working. It was a sub-7-second pit stop for 2 tires, and Jimmy Radio did just a couple of laps ago. I'm trying that high side, but I'm not sure what I've got quite yet. Matt?
Up in 4th, Dale Earnhardt Jr. is trying to reel in the leaders. It's been a work in progress. The 1st stop, air pressure adjustment. The 2nd stop, wedge and air pressure. Jr. says the car's attitude is the way I like it. If I could just get up front like the 20 and 29, I can take off like those guys. I didn't realize track position would be so huge here today.
McMurray goes by Casey Mears, moves into the 7th position. That 42 of that Havoline car is fast today.
McMurray qualified in 10th position, had moved up as high as 2nd earlier, got shuffled back when a tire rolled away on that last pit stop that they made back at lap 83. Billy's trying to make up some of the lost ground.
Certainly is, and very focused, Alan. If you know Jamie McMurray's kind of quiet on the radio, but that's a good sign. Has not said much since their last pit stop, trying to regain that lost position. If their radio's quiet, that's good. All he wants called out is the lap times. If he's talking, that's usually not a good sign about how the car's handling.
Up front, here goes Tony Stewart looking underneath Kevin Harvick.
And he's going to try him on the bottom. How about that?
Oh, that's a real shock. And again, we saw McMurray trying to make those passes on the outside. Oh, Tony is right there, and Harvick comes off the bottom a little bit. Is that enough for Tony Stewart? It just might be. He's there.
Looks like it. And back in the lead for Tony Stewart. Tony Stewart ran the fastest lap that he's run in the race so far at lap 99, just after that last restart.
Oh, man, right rear tire on the 4 car.
Tearing that thing apart. Caution for debris.
And we know where the debris came from.
3rd one of the race. Troubles for Johnny Sauter, making his NASCAR Winston Cup debut in Larry McClure's Kodak car this week.
It looked like they were struggling a little bit anyway.
And I tell you what, he was forcing to do that and not crash the car. Derek Cope did exactly the same thing yesterday. Shredded a right rear tire and destroyed his car.
During Winston Cup happy hour, yeah. See the NASCAR official there telling him they can't go back out onto pit road until they make some further repairs. They were probably going to try and send Johnny around and keep him. Yeah, they're going to go behind the wall. They're going to send him out, try and keep him in sync with the lap that he was on, and try and make repairs with repeated pit stops under the caution flag.
Tony giving Buster Alton, the pace car driver, a little push.
Just letting him know he's there.
Yeah.
Remember me? Haven't been here in a little bit. So how many of the leaders will we see pit here? The leaders stopped at lap 83.
I'd say
some of the cars stopped at 92.
Everybody's.
Oh, you're the outlaw Harvick.
Oh,
what a fake that was. Wow.
Nice. First is in Stewart. Third is in Ryan Newman. Fourth, Junior's in. Dave?
Sixth place, Jimmy Johnson. 4 tires, only 1 can of fuel, air pressure adjustment to fix a tight condition. Matt?
Now look for a 2-tire change on Stewart. No adjustments, just 2 tires and fuel. A little bit of trouble on the front for Stewart. He's going to not beat the 42, possibly not the 38 off pit road. Junior's going to go for a 4-tire change.
And Jeff Gordon and Jamie McMurray get out ahead of Tony Stewart.
What's wrong with Junior's car? They're working on the nose of the car. Is it overheating or something?
Get into somebody or something?
Split or whatever. Come on.
That's bent underneath a little bit, isn't it?
I mean, it looks like it might be broken right behind that fellow's on his knees. Matt.
He ran over some of the debris from the 4 car of Johnny Sauter and bent back the valence on the right front. The Bud guys are trying to beat it back out. And it's really a shame because Junior felt like the attitude of the race car was the best it had been all day, running in the 4th position. Now he's going to be mired back in traffic. Remember, he felt like track position was everything. Now he's going to have a lot of cars in front of him. Marty.
Well, Matt, Todd Barrier, why did you not bring Kevin Harvick down pit road?
You know, track position is the biggest thing here. It was only like 15 laps were going to be different right here. I mean, the only window we would have to catch would be, you know, when we do have to pit, them having like 15 laps further on fuel. I think we can go as far or farther than the rest of them anyway, so we're just playing it out right here and running our own racing to see what happens.
It was a nice fake on his part coming to pit road, but are you going to second guess this decision at all?
Nah, not right now. At the end of this thing we may, but not right now. I'm not at all.
Still in the lead, Kevin Harvick, guys.
It's a good time to take 4 tires now, though.
It really was a good time, yeah.
If you're going to do it, this was the time to do it, because I think he could get away with 2 and 2.
Kevin Harvick did not stop. He is the race leader of the Tropicana 400, trying to win this race for a 3rd year in a row. Can he do it again? Tropicana 400 at Chicagoland Speedway under caution after the right rear tire of Johnny Sauter's car came apart, scattered some debris out of the racetrack. They are still cleaning up, and we remain under the yellow flag. Nice little sequence at the head end of pit road here. Tony Stewart leading, Kevin Harvick second. Who's going to stay out? Who's going to pit?
Boy, Harvick, it really looked like he was going to make a pit. Here he comes off the corner, and he just dives down to pit road. Tony Stewart sees him and says, oh, I got to go with him. And Harvick pulls back on the racetrack.
Let's watch and listen.
Tom, all coming behind me, and you said regardless stay, so I went back up.
Yeah, here. Let's just stay. Regardless, stay.
Good fake.
But he's 15 laps off the other cars on his fuel window.
And Tony Stewart is not that far behind him.
Robbie Gordon did not pit. Rusty Wallace, he's 3rd. There's a further story there. He pitted, sort of. Back to explain in a minute.
NBC's coverage of the Tropicana 400 is brought to you by Ford. If you haven't looked at Ford lately, look again. By Subway, fresh-made sandwiches on fresh-baked bread. Subway, eat fresh. By 1010-987, no commitment. It's 3 cents a minute and 39 cents to connect. 1010-987. And by UPS, we want to race the truck. People love the truck. Still under caution here at Chicagoland. Jamie McMurray on the track after a fuel-only stop. Fuel-only for Jamie McMurray. Rusty Wallace, currently running 3rd on the racetrack, came down pit road, but missed his...
The word confused today. Loose on the 1st run, tight on the 2nd run, and they're having trouble communicating with each other. They made a little bit of a misadjustment on the last stop. Marty?
Dave, Casey Mears was in the 5th position. Now he's 18th because when they came down pit road the first time, they tried to pull a spring rubber out of the left rear. When they did, this handle broke. They had to come in a second time and physically pull it out of the spring. Alan?
Green flag.
Green.
Kevin Harvick leads. Robbie Gordon is second. Those two did not stop under the caution flag. You heard Bill tell you the Rusty Wallace story. He's 3rd. Jeff Gordon is 4th. Jamie McMurray is 5th. They got fuel only on their stop.
Whoa, Sterling got way up out of the groove, and the whole field's going to go by.
He was 10th. He will now be 18th, last on the lead lap.
And he still doesn't look like he's up to speed. There's smoke on the right side. He's got a flat.
Yep. So a tough break there for Marlin. Right front.
Yep.
Who will come to pit road under green and lose a lot of ground. All right, there's Jeff Gordon, 24, and Tony Stewart in the 20. They are 5th and 6th. Jamie McMurray just ahead of them in 4th, trying to hold them off. And Marty, Sterling Marlin's in.
Well, they had just worked their way into the top 10. Remember earlier we told you they had a brake duct that was rubbing on the right front tire. Yesterday in practice, Sterling was bottoming out. So this morning they moved some suspension pieces up. That caused the brake duct to rub on the right front tire. They thought they had it fixed. Evidently they did not.
There's Mark up out of the groove that lost about, well, he's going to lose a lot of positions.
I don't think that's Mark. I think that...
Is that Jeff Burton?
Give you credit for that. Tony Stewart trying to work his way back to the front. Stewart has led 80 of the 116 laps so far. Right now he's back in 6th position after getting shuffled back on that exchange of pit stops. There's the leader coming in, but did not come off first. Elliott Sadler right behind him, 38 car. That is for position. Sadler's running 7th. And next up behind them will be Matt Kenseth, Ryan Newman, and Jimmy Johnson.
And Tony Stewart is finding out, like so many drivers, when you get back in the battle around these other cars, it makes your car so difficult to handle.
And it looks like, I can't confirm it, but the first couple laps, it looked like the 20 car was a little bit loose. And, you know, when you're a little bit loose by yourself out front, it's a little bit easier. When you're around these other cars, it's tougher because they're all stealing your air too, so it even makes it slide more.
You were trying to find that word, weren't you?
Jamie McMurray goes by Robbie Gordon. Moves into the 3rd spot.
And Robbie got loose there.
Jeff Gordon goes by him. Slices around Jimmy Spencer. 7 cars, second one a lap down, 19th place.
Go on board with Robbie Gordon. Check out our telemetry and see what kind of mile per hour he gets down the front straightaway. 180. 6, 7, 8, 9, 191 miles per hour.
There's Tony Stewart up on the high side.
Taking away another spot.
Remember, Robbie didn't stop on that caution. Now, some of these other guys didn't take tires under the caution that are going by him, but Jack Sprague has just gone to the garage. No power. Clunk.
Tony, Robbie came right back on the 20 car. It's kind of, 3 wide. This is not good.
This is not good at all. Tony.
Clear high.
Don't want to be on the outside going into 1. Especially 3 wide.
That was Robbie Gordon's radio. So Tony's going to get shuffled back about 4 spots.
Should be interesting to see when the 20 gets back to the 31.
Yeah,
what clean pass this is going to be.
They had 38 in that mix there, too. Also on the lead lap. Tony's back to 9th now after that little shuffle.
Oh, another car.
That's Elliott Sadler.
That might have been Robbie Gordon. They got in the back of the 38 car. Looked like he had some help. Maybe wrong.
Things getting interesting here. So Sadler slips back. Check where he falls back in line. He was in 5th position. Now he's in 10th. '77 car there, Dave Blaney, 22nd place, 1 lap down.
1 car on pit lane.
All right, let's go back and take a look here.
Yep, looked like Robbie got into the left rear quarter panel of Elliott there, just a little bit.
Just couldn't hold his car on the bottom when he went off in there in the turn 1.
Watch Robbie go down. He's all the way down at the bottom, kind of wiggles a little bit, slides up the track, and Elliott was there.
I'll tell you what, that was a very good job on Elliott Sadler to save that car and not hit the wall.
This guy right here, I'm telling you, got 4 fresh. No, he doesn't have 4 fresh tires, does he? 48 take 4, Alan?
On the last stop?
Yeah.
Check my notes here. Hang on a second. Talk while I look.
Okay.
Anyway, he goes by Tony Stewart.
Anyway, he's fast.
Yeah, he's very fast, and Tony Stewart is behind him. Dave, what about the 48?
Four tires on that, and only 1 can of fuel. They got in and out, guys.
All right, so that, you know, my point was going to be he's got 4 fresh tires on it, and he got track position on the stop before, so he's in a good position right now. Marty, what happened on the 40 deal?
Well, let's show you the tire, and it's pretty obvious, Wally, when you do look at the tire that came off Sterling Marlin's car, the brake duct completely cut through this thing like a knife. Now the problem for Lee McCall and his bunch, they have to make a decision because obviously it's happened with 2 tires now on Sterling's car. They're talking about it. Should they bring him down pit road and fix this? If it is definitively the brake duct, then they need to do that before something else happens.
Well, if it didn't get fixed before, it probably will happen again.
Robbie Gordon and Ryan Newman, 31 and 12, 5th and 6th positions here. You mentioned Jeff Green was on pit road a minute ago. They had thought they had a loose left side tire.
Oh, Kurt Busch has lost an engine up in 3 and 4.
He's been on 7 cylinders for quite a while.
He doesn't have any now.
Caution flags out.
And he's going to let Terry get his lap back.
Kevin Harvick, yeah. Remember we heard that on the radio a little while ago. So that puts 17th place Terry Labonte back on the lead lap and brings the caution flag out again at lap 128.
Okay, now Harvick's going to pit this time. How many other cars you think are going to pit?
It's been about 20 laps since those last stops. What do you think?
I think the 48 will stay out.
20 laps? Nah, that's almost half a fuel run.
Yeah, they'll probably all come in.
Kurt Busch
goes in the corner, backs off the throttle, and pieces started flying around inside the engine, knocks a hole in the oil pan, oil gets all over the exhaust system, and
Good job. Those guys really struggled this weekend. When you got to pull out a backup car, it just never seems to go right.
So Kurt Busch goes to the garage.
I think they'll all come. You almost have to, don't you think?
Yeah, we'll see.
And they come to the opening of pit road. Who's faking? Who's coming?
I don't think this is fake on. Jeff Gordon's going to stay on the racetrack.
Yeah. Everybody else is coming in. Pit stops at the beginning of lap 129. Dave.
4 tires for Matt Kenseth, a turn and a half down in the right rear to fix a condition that the car. Bill.
It's gas only for the 42, and for the 2 cars, 2 right side tires in traffic leaving pit road.
Marty, smooth stop for the leader, Kevin Harvick. He's a little bit too tight. Round of wedge in. Track bar up on Kevin Harvick's car. They are 6 laps short of making it on 1 more stop.
Now the 20 car's taking 4.
And service already completed for Tony Stewart, a 4-tire change. They also pulled out the left front fender. Damage when he made contact with the 31 made the car tight.
We could tell that Stewart was struggling as compared to how he ran earlier on in the race.
So another smorgasbord of strategy there. Some fuel only, some 4 tires, some 2 tires.
On the caution flag, let's see. Tony Stewart just goes by cars on the caution because he wants to go up and talk to Robbie Gordon. wonder what, you know, all they can do is hand signals, but I guess that was enough.
That's plenty. They can say plenty with hands.
He made his point.
They are fixing that problem with the 40.
Oh, they've got to.
Yeah, because like I said, it was going to happen again.
What about it? Am I going to just move over?
So they're going to clean up here under the caution from Kurt Busch's problem that's put out the yellow flag in the Tropicana 400. Back at Chicagoland Speedway, getting set for the restart in the Tropicana 400. Jeff Gordon is the race leader, though second in line there. You see the 7 car of Jimmy Spencer, tail end of the lead lap. He's going to start in front of Jeff Gordon.
See these guys driving down? Robbie on the inside. Elliott Sadler sneaks down to the bottom of the racetrack, so it's 3 abreast going in, and you just can't do that right here at Chicago. Not yet.
All right, restart. Green flag. How long can Jimmy Spencer in the 7 car stay out in front of Jeff Gordon? I guess the better question is how long can he stay in front of the 42 car, Jamie McMurray?
Also up there, Bobby Labonte in the 18, the green car. He is tail end of the lead lap also in 19th spot. So they're hoping for a quick caution and allow them to get back around and make up a full mile and a half. Jeff Gordon leads. Jamie McMurray is second. Gordon didn't pit. McMurray took fuel only. Jimmy Johnson third. Ryan Newman fourth. And Jeff Burton fifth.
Oh, here comes Jimmy Johnson on the inside. He's going to make it 3 wide about for second spot.
Oh, look at there, a little damage on the right front quarter there of Johnny Benson's car. He did get into the 1 car. You can see that fender crinkle up.
Benson in the 10. Jeff Green in the 1. Jimmy Johnson through Jamie McMurray to second.
The problem we talk about Tony not being able to run high, that's the problem that Jamie McMurray has. His car really doesn't like the bottom of the racetrack. Dave, tell us about Jimmy Johnson.
Fuel only on that last stop, guys. Remember we had said earlier, just earlier, they took 4 the last time. Chacanow said we didn't need them, just fuel.
Johnson, what an incredible performance so far today. Started at the back after an engine failure in practice yesterday. Then he got into Johnny Benson in the second practice. They repaired the fender. He's charged his way all the way up to second spot.
Oh, take that. Wait a minute. That's in jeopardy of going away. Boy, that 42 car is really good today. Jamie McMurray taking over second. Trying to. Was that an early call, maybe? Nope.
All right, he got him now.
Although he's going to be, yeah, he got clear. He's almost going to get boxed in there.
You know, we described all the problems Jimmy Johnson had this weekend, but he did not, when we talked to him earlier, give up 1 bit on his chances of winning here.
I feel we got just as good of a chance this year as we did last year. Last year at this point in time, we were a little higher in points, but at this race last year, our team kind of nosedived. We ran out of gas. The pressure, 12th test as a rookie team, everything that came along, we started to run out of gas from here on out. And we're looking forward to these last 20 races. So I think mentally we're in a much stronger state than we were this year, this time last year.
Yeah, I agree with me. You know, this is a tough 36 races. It's really, really tough. You get all pumped up, and the adrenaline can carry for the first 10 races, but pretty soon there has to be some time off. They've got to work out the work days, the days off, and it's so difficult for a rookie team.
People talk about rookie basketball players in the NBA coming out of college and adding a great increase in the number of games and the length of season that they play from the college schedule to the pros. Same thing in NASCAR Winston Cup racing. For a brand new team like that was last year, they had to learn what it takes to be there all the way through the championship deciding event at Homestead in November. It's a long, long haul.
And they've learned that. They learned that lesson well last year, and they are a contender this year for the championship and victories.
Ryan Newman on the bumper of Jimmy Johnson right now.
I think right now that Johnson's car doesn't like the last change or whatever they made, because it looks to be struggling just a little bit in that 48 car.
I haven't talked an awful lot about Ryan Newman today, but he started in 14th spot. He's been up into the top 5 now for some time. He's running in 4th position at the moment. Newman with a couple of wins already this season at Texas and at Dover. This race 1 year ago, he led 87 laps of the race, but he cut a tire right front with 28 to go.
I'll tell you what, that 6 car, Mark Martin, earlier on in the race, remember, he pulled over and let Rusty Wallace go by, and he really struggled with his car. But the last 100 laps or so, his car has been about as good as anyone's. Yeah. Since that first pit stop, and they started adjusting on him.
The problem for him is he's a lap down. Yeah. And he's in 20th place. Marty.
It's kind of been a work in progress for the 6 bunch all weekend, guys. This is a brand new car. Never seen the racetrack until it got here on Friday. It was very good in the wind tunnel, but Ben Leslie told me wind tunnel doesn't always equal racetrack success. So it has been a struggle for those guys, but they are gaining on it. They will use this car in the future, but it has just been a tough day, tough weekend for Mark Martin and his bunch.
You see Mark running just behind race leader Jeff Gordon, but in reality, he is a lap and that much down to contending for the lead. Just past halfway here in the Tropicana 400 at Chicagoland Speedway. Jeff Gordon is out in front in the 24 car. Jeff did not pit under the last caution when about everybody else did. Matty, how about that strategy call?
Well, I spoke with Robbie Loomis, Jeff Gordon's crew chief. He said simply, we are 8 to 10 laps short of trying to make it on one more stop, so there was no use in pitting. Jeff's car was free, but he said it was pretty good. They felt like the track position, having that open air, would be much better than mired a little bit back if they would have gone and pitted. Now, meanwhile, Dale Earnhardt Jr. runs in the 9th position. Remember, he had that front valence damage from the debris from Johnny Sauter's car. They repaired that. The car is good on entry, good up off the corner, but horrible in the center. It just will not turn. Pushes big time.
You know, I heard that phrase before, we're not in our window yet, sometime recently, like last Saturday night by the guys that were dominating the Pepsi 400. And the guys that came in and got the fuel anyway, even though they weren't in their window yet, kept coming in to top off, wound up winning the race. So Jeff Gordon is out on track leading the Tropicana 400 at Chicagoland Speedway by 1.8 seconds over Jamie McMurray.
Spectacular day in Joliet, Illinois, as NASCAR on NBC has come to the Chicagoland Speedway for the 3rd annual running of the Tropicana 400. On the racetrack, you haven't missed a thing. Jeff Gordon continues to lead in pursuit of his 5th NASCAR Winston Cup championship, has led 23 of 150 laps run so far here this afternoon. Just a few moments ago, Tony Stewart in the 20 car had a close call with the wall here at Chicagoland. Watch him go high, get out of that groove. So close to that wall, but able to continue on and pick up positions. So Tony Stewart on the racetrack, currently running in the 9th position. Up front, it's the 24 of Jeff Gordon. We'll take you through the field, and let's start with Pat.
Jeff Gordon starting the day, hoping to pull off something he's never done here in Chicago, and that's win. He's won at 19 of 23 Winston Cup tracks. Gordon says the car's a little bit free right now, Bill.
Jamie McMurray on his last 2 stops in the 42 car, fuel only. I talked to his crew chief, Donnie Wingo. They cannot make it on one more stop. They'll need more than that, but this is a great run and a great car, Dave.
Bill, we've already mentioned Jimmy Johnson did not take on tires on that last stop, fuel only. He's been saying the thing that a crew chief wants to hear the most from him this last run. Nothing. Matt?
A 2-tire change in the last stop for Ryan Newman. He has been told, conserve fuel. At this juncture, we are 7 to 8 laps short of making on one more stop, Bill.
Jeff Burton tight in the middle, loose off, fuel only on their last stop. They are going to try, I underscore, try to make it on just one more fuel stop. As for Rusty Wallace, a huge break when that last caution came out. Got 2 right side tires, got a full load of fuel. This late in the race, Rusty running into inside the top 10, looking for his first win in 79 races. Michael Waltrip on lap 127 took fuel and wedge. His car was a little bit loose. Currently running in the 7th position. Matt?
The lap 120 damage between the contact from the 31 car and that left front fender. The team did pull that out. We talked about that on the stop. Stewart now says back on lap 141, the car is back to where we had it before. Now we just have to slowly start picking people off. He's climbed up to 8th, Dave.
Crew Chief Kevin Hamlin for Robbie Gordon tells me nothing, no problem from the contact out there, but they did get a piece of debris through the top of the grill. They haven't had a chance to put anything over it in the way of tape, and it's tight right now because of that. Matt?
Dale Earnhardt rounding out the top 10. Basically, they're playing the fuel mileage game. At this point, they cannot make it on one more stop. He's trying to conserve as much as he can.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. getting by Robbie Gordon. That's for the 9th position now. So Earnhardt Jr. moving up another spot farther forward. Up ahead, it's Jeff Gordon leading Jamie McMurray by a 1.5 seconds. Though remember, Gordon did not stop under that last caution at lap 128. He's about 20 laps off on his fuel window for the rest of the field. Let's continue going through the field. Back to Marty.
Casey Mears is having a pretty nice run. Allen, he's up in the 11th position right now. His car, however, is actually in 12th position, is getting tighter and tighter the longer he runs. He tries to stay on the bottom. He wants to run a lane a little bit higher, but can't do it right now, Bill.
You gave him the 11th position. Jeremy Mayfield says, I want that 11th position back, battling with the 41 car. And up and day down early for the 19 car. Their fuel mileage not exactly what you would hope for, but Jeremy Mayfield having a strong run, Marty.
Bill, if you're wondering where Kevin Harvick went, he's all the way back in the 13th position now. He stopped on lap 130, fell back to 17th, has made his way back up to 13th. They can make it all the way on one more stop. Their magic number, 198, and they can make it to that lap number. Bill?
Elliott Sadler looking for career win number 2, trapped in traffic, but able to hang on. Been bumped around a little bit on the racetrack, but not much conversation. Car is good. Elliott's confident. 16th on the track. Dave?
Two-time Winston Cup champion Terry Labonte came in the last time for 4 tires. The car was so good, he said, just give me 4 more like the ones before. Now, the guy who wants to be champion this year, Matt Kenseth, he's been having a tough day. This last set of tires, he said, makes the car chatter all the way around the racetrack. They feel rock hard. He's having trouble. Marty?
Bill Elliott well short on the fuel mileage game. They will not be playing that this afternoon. His car is actually pretty good. He gets really tight the longer he runs. He said, all we need right now is a little bit of track position. Behind him on the track, Bobby Labonte, and well behind him on the track, Bobby praying for a caution right now. He is the last car on the lead lap. The car is actually pretty good. They fell a lap down because of that penalty on pit road, but the car's not been bad today, guys.
Labonte just in front of leader Jeff Gordon, as you can see. And as Marty said, final one on the lead lap. Coming up on 250 miles in this Tropicana 400.
You watch the ticker across the top, you saw that Jimmy Johnson was able to get by Jimmy McMurray and take over the 2nd spot.
And Johnson right now running lap times that are fractionally faster than his teammate and part team owner, Jeff Gordon.
But if they have to stop twice, and some of these guys only have to stop once,
doesn't matter, does it?
Throw all that speed out the window. It doesn't matter.
You heard Matt say that Jeff Gordon has won at 19 of the 23 tracks on the NASCAR Winston Cup circuit presently. There are the 4 at which he is 0-for. Some longer than others. But Gordon expressing confidence coming into here this weekend because a lot of people consider the Kansas Speedway to be a sister to this. They are different banking a little bit and so on, but Gordon won at Kansas last fall and felt like that the similarities here would play to his advantage during the weekend and the race today.
And as you see that Jeff Gordon keeping track of the championship points, currently would be in 2nd spot, 135 behind Kenseth. That's a huge jump, huge gain.
Yeah, he's 203 behind as the race began today. How about our lows, improvers, and snoozers? Check out people making a lot of progress today and people slipping back the wrong way.
This should be pretty easy on the 48, making the biggest jump.
39 positions.
Nice job by Jeff Burtonstein. And the snoozers. Dave Blaney struggling. Sterling Marlin we saw with the brake duct rubbing the inside of the right front tire. It's dropped him well behind.
And Biffle, last week's winner, also struggling here at the Chicagoland Speedway.
Doesn't take much in this business to go from hero to zero, does it?
No, it sure doesn't.
Just about 250 miles into the Tropicana 400, Jeff Gordon leading Jimmy Johnson by a second and a half. Great day to be at the races, and today we're in Joliet, Illinois at the Chicagoland Speedway for the third running of the Tropicana 400 along with the sellout crowd of 75,000. They're watching Jeff Gordon lead this event now as it has just crossed the 250-mile mark. Been following the Tropicana tune-in, peel-out, and win contest today. If you bought the specially marked packages and got the lap number from TropicanaRacing.com, remember that if Jeff Gordon records his fastest lap today on your lap number, you'll be entered into a drawing to become part of his pit crew at next year's Tropicana 400. Jeff's fastest lap so far today is lap 133. We'll see how it plays out when lap 267 sees the checkers come out.
So when he stops here in just a few laps and changes those 4 tires, maybe those folks with lap 180, 190 might be a winner, but right now it's 133.
And remember, Jeff Gordon did not pit under the last caution. Expect him in another 5 laps or so. Tony Stewart trying to regain some lost ground, trying to take 6th place away from Rusty Wallace.
Oh, doing it on the high side.
Hey, Tony, I'm proud of him. Venture up there. These guys are almost 10 seconds behind Jeff Gordon, the leader. And his track position on these tracks is just everything.
And a lot of that's because on the restarts, he started, well, I don't remember where he started, but man, it's so important to clear those lap cars. The guy out front does have a big advantage.
Check it out. Race lead coming under pressure here. Jimmy Johnson closing quickly on Jeff Gordon. I mean quickly.
Oh, yes. Right up on the back bumper. And Bobby Labonte is still in front of these guys. Remember, the 18 car was a lap down, started alongside Jeff Gordon, took the lead. He's still up in front of Jeff.
48 looks like he can stay on the bottom a little bit better than the 24 car.
Was that the Jaws theme I heard Jimmy Johnson singing in his car a minute ago? Listen.
I don't hear anything.
I do my best impersonation of Jaws. Did it work?
Get more like dun 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 dun. Inside.
Thank you. Dun, 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 dun.
You focus on driving.
I'm not catching him.
Not yet, but you still have 100 laps to do it right here at the line.
Yes, F4, boys. I'll get back to work.
Well, he's got the lead now as Jeff Gordon peels off and heads on to pit road for his stop. Bobby Labonte stopped a lap earlier, so Labonte couldn't catch the caution that he needed. Now Bobby needs it to stay green for a while, as does Jeff Gordon.
Because he will be a lap down after he stops, fills with fuel, and gets 4 tires. Matt, coming to you.
And Jeff Gordon pulls to a stop. He said late in that run that he had picked up a serious push. You can see the wedge handle in the back. Steve Letarte making the adjustment. Caleb Hurd, the Virginia Tech kicker, put the wrench in the window. Shane Church hits the lugs in the left front. And Gordon's gone. He's going to be about 25 to 28 laps shy. That's when he will have to make probably a quick gas and go or a 2-tire change near the finish, guys.
Yeah, depending on how the caution flags play out. Now, he's also in the danger zone for another 20 laps or so, because that's the difference between when he stopped at lap 107 and when the other front runner stopped at lap 128. So he needs this thing to stay green at least until everybody else comes to pit road. Then he needs to hope for a caution so that the guys like Kevin Harvick that can make it to the finish on that one more stop, that advantage is negated.
Boy, he's hoping for a lot.
Well, you got to have that to win these things, don't you?
And sometimes all the cards for all the stars line up, and you can do that. That's a battle for the 10th position. Jeremy Mayfield, the 19, has just taken it away from Casey Mears in 41.
The Dodgers going at it there.
And right behind them, Kevin Harvick,
who led 46 laps of this thing earlier, but really hasn't made any progress after that top off of the fuel tank he did back at lap number 130. NBCSports.com. If you log on to there, you can find previews and predictions of each Winston Cup race from Old BP, as well as my weekly look at which drivers are streaking and which are struggling, who's hot and who's not. NBCSports.com. Here's the NASCAR Winston Cup Championship leader on pit road for his stop. 90 laps to go for Matt Kenseth as he comes in, Dave.
And he asked the crew to spend as much time on pit road as they needed to make this car right. It's still very, very tight for Matt. They're talking about taking a spring rubber out of the left rear again. They will give him 4 tires. They will fill it full of fuel. It's been a struggle today. Matt continues to wish the car was so much better out there, and soldiers on. Trouble with the lug nut on the left rear as well. Crewman gets it on and
they might have been changing it, taking a rubber out of the left rear was their slow pit stop, Dave. You might check on that.
And they do. I saw the crewman putting on a lug nut on the left rear, Benny, and they did take out that left rear rubber.
All right.
So Jimmy Johnson's the leader. You see Dale Jarrett there that Johnson has just gone by. Jarrett's team reporting a vibration in the drivetrain, so that's what's left him well off the pace. DJ back in 32nd spot, 3 laps down. The struggles continue. Johnson up 1.7 seconds on Jamie McMurray now. Ryan Newman 3rd, Tony Stewart 4th, and Jeff Burton holding down the 5th position. Let's take a break now, come back for the leaders' pit stops, which we expect in another 5 to 7 laps. NASCAR on NBC from Chicagoland Speedway and the 3rd running of the Tropicana 400. Some green flag pit stops starting, Bill.
Jeremy Mayfield, 4 tires and fuel and a chassis adjustment because his car has been loose. Pit road about to get very busy down here. Mayfield got fuel and now he's on his way.
But unfortunately, lap 186, Jeremy will have to stop again to get more fuel to finish this race.
Pretty much all the Dodges are in that boat.
Yep.
It's kind of been that way for them today, hasn't it? Back up front, Jimmy Johnson's advantage over Jamie McMurray, the 2nd place runner, has grown. It's out to 2.7 seconds now, and we expect Johnson on pit road in just another couple of laps. Scoring serial today on Johnson, nothing short of impressive. Started at the back after the engine change from yesterday morning's practice. Marched his way to the front. Talked to him during the grid. He was pretty confident.
Yeah, and I talked to Chad before the race this morning, and he was pretty confident. And we talked about that left front fender damage, and I'll tell you what, I looked at that left front fender, and that thing looked brand new this morning. So,
yeah, believe it or not, the left front in an accident last night, he hit the 10 car, and you're right, it looks brand new today. It's a battle for position, 11th, 10th.
And they've been going at it for about 15 laps. Kevin Harvick had a nose underneath Casey Mears a couple of times, and it got a little close and a little tense there at one point, didn't it, Marty?
Yeah, it did get a little tense, and Kevin asked his spotter, Danny Cullen, will you please tell the 41 spotter he is holding us up. We are clearly faster than him. He needs to get out of the way. And Jimmy Elliott just radioed to Casey Mears, let him go. We're going to put in a few laps anyway. It won't matter.
Okay. So Harvick is back up to 10th spot, and remember, he's one of the guys who thinks he can go with just one more stop. Leaders in, 79 laps to go, Dave.
And the young, confident pit crew goes to work on Jimmy Johnson's car. Going to make a slight chassis adjustment. The car is a little bit tight right now. They will take 4 tires. They want to keep the balance in the car, give them the fresh rubber. This will not be their last pit stop, though. They're a little bad on fuel mileage today. They will have to come one more time. Marty?
Bill Elliott is in. He's running around the 15th position, and he's having a pretty good car right now. A little bit tight for Bill. He said if we could just get some track position, that is what would really help us out. It'll be 4 tires for that 9 car, and he's off pit road.
Casey Mears is in. Terry Labonte's in. Jamie McMurray comes in. Marty?
Casey Mears hits pit road looking for his first career Winston Cup top 10. His best finish before this, 15th at Las Vegas, having a very nice run, a little bit tight, Bill.
Jamie McMurray having an outstanding day, very fast car. He's been taking fuel only this time. It is 4 tires, half a pound of air in the right rear to improve the handle. Fuel going in, he's down, he's on his way.
Ryan Newman takes over the lead after the pit stops by Jimmy Johnson and Jamie McMurray. So Newman leading, Tony Stewart second, Rusty Wallace third, then Jeff Burton and Michael Waltrip. Remember, as you watch the ticker across the top of the screen, the names listed in white have not made a pit stop on this cycle. The names listed in yellow have been on pit road for their stop. That's a way for you to keep track of who's been in and who hadn't. Matt Borland, Ryan Newman's crew chief.
There's something about the fuel gauge. I'm assuming that he means pit pretty soon.
Probably telling him to run until he sees the fuel pressure gauge fluctuate. Or if he sees it fluctuate, make sure to get in quick.
Right.
If you're new to NASCAR, these cars don't have a fuel gauge in them like your street car does.
5 laps, 4 tires, full fuel load, 2 rounds out, right side track bar.
Is it 5 laps? 5 laps. So then he's got to run 69 laps.
Well, that's what Harvick ran last year and won.
Yeah.
But he's in a Dodge, and they haven't been getting all that great of fuel mileage today. Here's his teammate, Rusty Wallace, in, along with Robbie Gordon behind him, with 74 laps to go, Bill.
And this is a little earlier than they wanted. Won't be able to make it to the finish. Rusty's getting 4 scuffed tires that they got from the 25 team. These wheels have the 25 logo on the side. Chassis adjustment because he's just a tick tight, Dave.
Robbie Gordon was out of fuel when he came in, but he kept the motor running. They put a little more tape on the front grille, try to cover up that hole. 4 tires and gone. Matt?
And Tony Stewart, 45 miles per hour down pit road, coming to the service of the Home Depot, guys. Tony says he wants a wedge adjustment and an air pressure adjustment. Says the car is better right now as Jeff Gooch Patterson makes the adjustment, the gas man. He says, but he does need to have a little bit of work. The car is just a little too snug. The luck's going on the left side, and service is complete for Stewart. They're going to be close on fuel.
Yeah, 73 laps to the finish. That's asking a lot.
I don't think so.
Elliott Sadler is going to be the next one of the lead lap cars to come to pit road. Here he comes, grooving his way to his pit stall. Tony Raines is in behind him. Remember, Ryan Newman still the race leader. Bill?
Elliott Sadler on the pit road around to the right side. A chassis adjustment just to try to improve the handle of that car a little bit. Fuel going in. They thought they might be able to make it to the finish. This is a little earlier, so I doubt they will be able to do that. Around to the left side. Fuel and tires for Elliott Sadler. He's on his way.
Michael Waltrip coming down pit road behind Sadler. Greg Biffle, is he out of fuel?
I would guess he is. Uh-oh, looks to be.
Was up to 13th spot.
Had a little bit of a clog up there. 74 trying to lead when the 15 was coming in. How about it, Bill?
A lot of traffic out here on pit road. Michael's got his tires and his fuel, and he's on his way too.
Biffle made it to his pit stall. Jeff Burton next to the lead lap cars to come in with 70 laps to go. Dave?
The 16 car was silent, it refired, now it's silent, now it refires, trying to keep the fire in the hole. 4 tires in the meantime for Biffle. Car's been off all day. Troubles now as they're waiting to get the thing off of here. Long pit stop for Greg.
And the leader crossing over just in front of him. Ryan Newman is on pit road with 69 laps to go. Matty?
And Newman can go the distance from here. That's what Matt Borland's calculations tell him. They're going to make a track bar adjustment. Newman says it just has too much left drive coming off the corner. And the 8 of Dale Earnhardt Jr. trouble with the 43. Jr. had to come to a complete stop before he could make it into his pit stall. Jr. not happy with the way the car is sitting extremely tight. You can see the adjustments on the right side. To Marty.
Matt, the 29 of Kevin Harvick is on pit road. The pressure's on Brian Englehart, the Jack man. He said, get it full. Very slight half-pound out of the right front tire. The car just a little bit loose. They can make it all the way.
And Ryan Newman just pitted with 69 laps to go. He has just run 70 laps on that last stop. So obviously he can make it.
So Jimmy Johnson is going to take over the lead after the set of pit stops by 2.5 seconds over Jeff Gordon.
Leader, you are the leader.
Rusty Wallace and Greg Biffle's teams are being penalized for an improper use of the 8th man over the wall. You're allowed 7 men to work on the car. The 8th man is allowed only to service the driver and the windshield. Apparently the 8th man on the 2 car and the 16 were spraying ether to get the cars refired after they ran dry, and they are being penalized by NASCAR.
We saw them do that on Greg Biffle's pit stop, spraying the ether in the carburetor, trying to get it restarted. So
Jimmy Johnson out in front, but can't make it to the finish on fuel, while a couple of other guys can. Looks just like Daytona last week.
Yeah, the good news is, Jimmy, you're leading the race, but we got some bad news. You got to stop for fuel. A couple of these other cars don't have to stop for fuel.
And other guys who just were reported that are able to make it to the finish, you've got Ryan Newman in 4th place. Kevin Harvick down in 12th place, and Dale Jr. in 11th. So Ryan Newman clearly the best off of them.
Bill Weber was talking about a very tight pit road. Watch as Michael Walter comes down pit road, and Tony Raines is trying to leave in 74. And look at the damage on the right front fender of the 74 car, where he makes contact with Michael's car.
Here we go. 43 in the 8 car. They said go, 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 the 43. 8 Junior had to slam on the brakes, stop, wait till the 43 gets out of the way, then pull into his pits.
You know what that looked like to me? Like Junior was expecting the 43 to be gone because he started to turn in behind him, and the 43 wasn't gone yet. So it's Jimmy Johnson out in front of the Tropicana 400. Just over 300 miles in the race, but fuel could play into deciding who wins this one again today.
NBC's coverage of the Tropicana 400 is brought to you by Pontiac.
Trouble, turn 2, Dale Earnhardt Jr. Into the wall, caution flags out. 2nd place man in the NASCAR Winston Cup Championship.
And Junior has been having trouble the last couple of laps during our commercial breaks down in 1 and 2. His car was very, very high, like something was wrong.
Big moment in the championship there for Dale Jr. Big moment in the race because the caution flag is going to bring some people like Jimmy Johnson a chance to get some fuel that they need to make the checkers. And that is going to be done for the day from the looks of that car.
Oh, no question. See if we take a look at what happened here. See him going down into 1 right there. Car's bobbling a lot right there, BP. Gets back in the gas and just loses it.
All of a sudden the car just spins around.
But the car looked loose as he got down into 1.
Well, you know, they've been talking about this car being a handful all weekend. And we caught just a clip at the end there of Junior's radio transmission saying, I just couldn't hang on to it this time.
Well, you know, in final practice, we rode along with the 8 car a bunch of times, and that car really looked unstable getting into the corners, even then. Triover right there. Boy, when it happens fast.
Trying to get some perspiration out of his eyes.
And now pit stops.
Right side scuffs for the 42 car and fuel, and he's on his way.
Jimmy Johnson's already come and gone.
They're going to make a wedge adjustment on the 24, and right side tire stickers going on. 1 can of fuel.
Right side tires for Tony Stewart. Bill Elliott's getting fuel only. And it looks like fuel only for Elliott Sadler. I'll check with Dave, but I believe Jimmy Johnson just got a splash of gas. Dave?
Remember how fast he was without changing tires last time? That's the same thing they did again. This is the lap they needed to get to make it to the end. And they made a wedge adjustment as well in the right rear. He was a little bit tight.
And while all these guys were making pit stops, Rusty Wallace just drove his car in the garage area. There it is.
Transmission gone on the 2. Transmission.
Rusty 9th place in the championship standings, joining Kurt Busch and now Dale Earnhardt Jr., among others, out of the Tropicana 400 with 58 to go.
NBC's coverage of the Tropicana 400 is brought to you by Pontiac, fuel for the soul. By Tropicana Pure Premium, nothing but the juice. Tropicana Pure Premium. By the Home Depot, NASCAR's home improvement warehouse. And by Stacker 2, the world's strongest fat burner.
Our Stacker 2 track fact. Chicagoland Speedway, when it opened a couple of years ago, hosting the first NASCAR Winston Cup race in this state since 1956. There had been a couple of prior races here, though. 1954, the Santa Fe Speedway outside of Chicago. Dick Rathman won that race. And then 1956, Soldier Field in Chicago. Fireball Roberts took that win. Matt?
Ryan Newman stayed out, and then his crew, their hearts just sunk. He came on the radio and said, guys, I think we've got a tire going down the 99, pulled up alongside, looked at them, said, they look okay. The spotter, John Erickson, looked at him, so they're not going to pit.
Ryan Newman, Jeff Burton, Michael Waltrip did not pit under the caution.
All right, we see he's coming down 60 miles per hour. Watch as he accelerates. He shifts at about 9,000.
12-car Newman, the leader, looking for a way out of the traffic. 22 Ward Burton trying to stay in front of the leader. He's on the tail end of one lap down, back in 21st position. And the one-car Jeff Green also back in 22nd spot. Now nearly 2 full laps behind Ryan Newman.
And Ryan Newman, the 12 car, cannot clear the 22 of Ward Burton. Finally, he does off turn 2. Jeff Burton is in 2nd spot, the Sitco car.
Important on the restart, Kevin Harvick got around Jimmy Johnson, took 4th position away.
I think Mike Waltrip just got by Jeff Burton on that move.
Yep, Mikey up to 2nd.
Harvick is in 3rd.
Johnson on the outside of Burton now. What's going on with Jeff Burton there, Mr. Weber?
Oh, Mr. Dallenbach, the car was
trouble.
real.
Turn 3, Bobby Labonte hard into the wall. Bottom of the racetrack to the top.
You got the yellow.
And Bobby Labonte has the window that down. He's trying to get out of that car.
It's so hard getting out with all that equipment on.
See Kyle Petty stopping to see if Bobby needs assistance.
And he doesn't. He's out of there. Man, oh man.
We've been seeing a lot of fire lately, haven't we?
That car just spun like a top. It's like there was oil or water or something up in turn 3. Couldn't believe how quickly that car went around.
There is one other car involved in the crash, Mike Wallace, whose car has come to rest maybe 60 feet farther down the racetrack from where you're looking at Labonte's smoking machine.
Oops. Not quite out yet, fellas.
Well, it just came off pit road with a full tank of fuel. There's Mike Wallace out of his car. Good to see.
You better stay on that thing.
Yeah, they've got some stuff that's real warm there.
Good to see Bobby walking away from the car.
So is Mike.
But boy, a hard crash. I mean, I looked up, he went from the bottom of the racetrack to the top backwards and hit the wall a ton. So caution is out with 52 laps to go in the race. And let's see if we can go back and figure out what happened that caused this big mess in turn 3.
There you see the 18 car.
There's Mike Wallace. They're side by side.
Mike didn't see him there.
Okay, Benson drives into the 41. But they look like they save it.
Johnny's tires bent out.
The racetrack and he clips the 18 car.
Okay, that's why he spun so abruptly.
Yeah.
And Johnny made contact with the 41. It looked like it bent the suspension because you could see the tire in the 10 car just turn. Look at that hit. Oh, my goodness.
Seven cars got a bunch of damage also.
Looks like Steve Park in the 30 and maybe Bill Elliott. I saw Elliott spin, maybe Steve Park as well.
On board with Jimmy Spencer now for our next look.
Everybody checks up. Jimmy gets down right all the way to the bottom of the racetrack.
That was Steve Park that went around in the 30 car.
I saw some damage on that 7 car.
Jeremy Mayfield.
Way to do it. Drive at it. It'll be gone by the time you get there. Most of the time. Yeah. I can't believe they're
still trying to put that
thing in. What?
Yeah.
He had to pull his radio wire off. That's what he was hung up on when he was getting out of the car.
And he's so angry. He may be banged up, but he's so angry because all of a sudden just that almost through. Tony Stewart, 20 car, goes in the corner. Just drives right through.
Barely
missed several other cars.
And Jeff Gordon just following Stewart through. So a hard crash for both Bobby Labonte and Mike Wallace. Look at the damage to that car. I really didn't see how he got turned up into the into the wall there.
Army, the usual sponsor, USG this time at Chicago.
So what a twist in the championship this thing's taken in the last few laps. First Dale Earnhardt Jr., the second place man in points, crashes over in turn 2. Now Bobby Labonte, the fourth place man in the championship, crashes in turn 3. But both Matt Kenseth and Jeff Gordon get through the incident, the first and third place men in the standings. Robbie Gordon on board. Yep.
In front of you. Check up, Robbie. Spin in front of you. Go way low, way low.
That's way low down in the grass.
You're all right, you're all right.
But he got away okay. Under caution here in Chicago.
Back with you at Chicagoland Speedway. Big wreck in turns 3 and 4. Dale Earnhardt Jr. involved in that. Junior, you came out of the medical center on your own. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. We just we had the car too loose to drive it, and just lost control of it. That's unfortunate, but same hands full.
And you were in a wreck earlier today too in turn 2. It was a long day. That's the same wreck we're talking about here. What was the condition of your car when it happened, Junior?
Oh man, it was out of control. I think I may have had a flat tire, but I just pitted 3 laps before that, so I think we just over-adjusted, and I wasn't going to make it another corner, so it just too bad. But you know, I can handle it.
All right, we're glad you're okay.
All right, thanks.
Alan?
All right, Dave, thanks. And Dave will get us an update on Bobby Labonte and Mike Wallace from the Infield Medical Center as well. Here are the drivers that got at least a piece of that. Up in turns 3 and 4, obviously Wallace and Labonte with the biggest roles, along with Johnny Benson. But Elliott, Park, Gordon, and Mears all getting nicked up in that latest crash. Now, on pit road, when the pit lane was open just a moment ago, lead lap cars, Jeff Gordon and Elliott Sadler. Bill Elliott has also been in, getting some crash damage. Gordon and Sadler taking on 4 tires there. They're going to restart back 9th, 10th, and 11th, along with Bill Elliott there. What do you think?
Well, it's not bad strategy. If we didn't have the outside line, if they could start in line 9th place, I think it would be great strategy. But the fact that Jeff Gordon has to start on the outside, 18th, is going to be tough to get up there. Matt?
Jeff Gordon came on the radio and told Robbie Loomis, he said, it felt like somebody just took the air right off my spoiler. It was just so loose. He goes, it was really loose. He felt like somebody almost hit me. So they pitted for tires, scuffs on the left side, stickers on the right.
Yeah, I noticed right before that wreck, Matt, that Jeff Gordon was very loose through 1 and 2 and also getting into 3. Kind of looked like he had a tire problem.
And that's exactly what Junior said. He made a pit stop and just couldn't drive the car after that.
Of those 4 drivers, Kenseth and Gordon, the only 2 still running in the Tropicana 400. 48 laps to go. We're under caution.
Chicagoland Speedway, 3rd race in a year now for this track. Big wreck in turns 3 and 4 involving several cars. Mike Wallace among them. Mike, first of all to you. Are you all right?
Yeah, okay. Just got, took a hard hit and doing fine. Just a shame for the USG Pontiac. We were kind of having a rough day, but just kind of going along there, and here's a couple cars got together in front of us, and one went to the inside of the racetrack, then caught and come back, and I got caught in the left rear or something, turned us around, and then I'm not sure what happened when I realized everything was up. Bobby was on fire, and I was facing the other way. So shame for everybody behind us, and everybody got involved in it, but looks like Bobby's okay, so we'll get him again.
We're glad you're all right. Bobby, you had a lot of fire in that car. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. We had a bad break there. We, had a pit thing happen where we had to come back in, lost the lap, and we got going pretty fast. And it looked like somebody got in the 10 car and he got down low and spun to the inside. And it's just one of those things there. Everybody's bunched up after a restart, and came back and it looked like he clipped me in the left rear. I guess I don't know. It was pretty close. I thought I had it made. Backed in the fence, and then we got this problem with the fuel cell blowing up again, and that's always makes for a bad scene for everybody. And just want to tell everybody home of mine, it looked worse than what it was, and just a bad ending for our Interstate Battery Chevrolet that was pretty fast for a long time.
We're back to green, Bobby, but tell us your emotions as you pounded the ground.
I was just frustrated, the fire's one thing, but frustrated we got out of the race. We had to, we battled back there, and we came back to 13th there, racing under green. So just aggravating that it had to happen, and you hate to see, all the safety stuff in the car worked great. Man, I feel fine. Smell like a barbecue pit, but other than that, I feel okay.
All right, Alan, back to you.
I'm glad he can keep a sense of humor after a crash like that. Very glad both drivers okay. Now we've got us a great race shaping up now with 43 laps to go. The top four quickly cleared the lap traffic on the restart, and even back in traffic, they're shuffling spots up a great deal. Ryan Newman leads, Michael Waltrip second, Kevin Harvick third, Jimmy Johnson fourth.
And
They've
Harvick
cleared
is
the
coming
traffic
for second.
There you go. So Happy is up to the runner-up spot.
A little happier.
Is a little happier.
Now we'll see. Can he catch Newman? I thought that Jimmy Johnson might be the fastest of these top three cars, but catching somebody and past him is going to be an entirely different situation. Tony Stewart 30-40 laps ago was quicker than anybody, but Stewart is now back in sixth spot. I'm not sure he can fight his way back to the front in 40 laps or so.
This has been another one of those races, if you just joined us, where the different pit stop schedules and strategies have kept this thing tumbling back and forth and up and down all afternoon long. Kevin Harvick was out on track for some time, not having stopped. Then he got shuffled back in traffic. Then he didn't stop at 58 to go, along with Newman and Michael Waltrip. Now he's back up front in position to win. It's been all about track position today and making the right calls at the right time.
And being a little bit lucky.
Napa Field summary. Stories on the day today. We've had 6 caution flags, most notable among them the crash at lap 209 that took out Dale Earnhardt Jr. and the crash you just saw at lap 215 that took out Bobby Labonte, 2 of the top 4 in the NASCAR Winston Cup Championship. Tony Stewart has led the most laps so far today. Other race leaders, Jeff Gordon, Kevin Harvick, Ryan Newman, Jimmy Johnson, all for multiple laps, and then Michael Waltrip and Jamie McMurray for 1 apiece during an exchange of pit stops.
See Rusty Wallace, they've changed the transmission in the 2-car back on the racetrack, and Kevin Harvick getting closer and closer to Ryan Newman. 4/10 of a second. This time he goes by
2/10 faster that lap.
It's down to less than 3/10 of a second.
Kevin Harvick, winner of the 2001 inaugural Winston Cup race here at Chicagoland Speedway, winner again last year in 2002.
Wouldn't that be something if they run your 3 years and he'd be the only guy to ever win?
No driver has ever won the first 3 races at a Winston Cup racetrack. I can tell you a few people that did too. Before we do that, let's check on our leader with Matt.
Ryan Newman felt like last year he let one race here get away. He started on the pole and then finished 5th. Right now, a very fast race car, but needs clean air. When the 2-car, his teammate Rusty Wallace was in front, he jumped on the radio and said, "Someone tell Rusty to get out of my way. I need all the clean air I can get." To Bill.
Busy day on the track for the 12 team, but on Friday, NASCAR found this on their car. It's a washer that they had modified that helps hold the tethers that maintain the hood on the front of the car. NASCAR did testing this week at their R&D center in North Carolina after Robbie Gordon lost the hood of his car last week at Daytona. They basically were thinking about adding something like this, then inspectors found it on the 12 car. The 12 team gave it to Mike Helton. This week, John Darby told me they will be testing this at their R&D center.
It was discovered or invented, basically made in the Penske shops on a machine by a gentleman named Dave Lataw. It could be something every car has to help secure the hood in the future. Marty?
On the radio, Bill, Kevin Harvick's team has told him you're catching Ryan Newman a 10th of a lap. The thing that Kevin Harvick wants to try out is victory lane here at Chicago. Again, going for his 3rd straight win here. When they tested here, they came up with a completely different setup. But as the weekend went along, they're on the same exact setup that won this race last year, and they are catching the 12 car.
They're a little bit faster than the 12 car, but as he gets closer, I think he's going to find it's going to be more difficult because he starts getting that air off the 12 car. He's going to stop getting that full downforce. He's going to pick up that aero push, and passing is going to become very difficult.
Kevin Harvick, Jeff Gordon, Tony Stewart, and A.J. Foyt are the drivers that have won 2 our Winston Cup venue. Harvick would be the first if he can pull it off today. Great run for Michael Waltrip and company.
Terrific run for Mikey and Slugger Lab in that crew.
Started 12th today. Did not pit with 58 to go, along with Jeff Burton and Harvick and Ryan Newman. And Michael Waltrip 5th in the NASCAR Winston Cup Championship coming in. Having a very solid day, and look at, oh, trouble, turn 1. Casey Mears into the wall. Caution is out with 34 to go. Casey Mears was running 14th.
And Johnson just barely beats Michael Waltrip back to the line to take over 3rd spot.
And the field will slow for a 7th time today, and Michael is expressing some displeasure to Jimmy Johnson.
But you know what? That's a good move on Jimmy's part, because as hard as it is on these restarts, as far as you can get up on the outside line, the better you are.
Here we can see Michael again, voicing his displeasure with his hands.
You, sir, are not a gentleman.
The gentleman move right there by the 48.
The gentleman's agreement, something that's been much discussed since Robbie Gordon's pass on Kevin Harvick coming back to a caution flag at the Sonoma road course race a couple of weeks ago.
Here we come, back to the caution flag, and it's
Jimmy Johnson
by 5 or 6 feet. Enough to take over 2nd spot.
Huh? Yes.
If there's not a rule, man, race back to the yellow. You can get the spot, get the spot.
Anybody going to pit here?
I'm sorry, that was a battle for 3rd spot because Kevin Harvick is still in 2nd. Yes, somebody's going to pit. It's Jamie McMurray, 42, gives up the 6th spot. Jeremy Mayfield gives up 8th. Bill, coming to you.
And the 42 car had just gotten so tight, they're going to come on in, put on 1 lap scuffs, just top off with fuel. They don't really need it, but they'll do it for balance on the race car. 4 tires, 1 lap scuff, fuel, and Jamie McMurray will head back out.
Elliott Sadler, Jeremy Mayfield, Bill Elliott, other lead lap cars making pit stops here under this caution. Cleanup continues down inside turns 1 and 2, where Casey Mears came to rest after a crash. You're riding with the leader, Ryan Newman, out in front with 32 to go.
You look down at the Chicagoland Speedway here in Joliet, Illinois on a sunny Sunday afternoon. 236 laps are complete in the Tropicana 400, about to complete 237 under the caution here. And closing in on a finish at lap 267. Some very unusual things happening here today. Let's take you down on pit road and get you the update, starting with Matt.
Ryan Newman holding station at the front, trying to hold off Kevin Harvick. What's your man saying about his car, Matt?
He's pretty happy. He likes it out front. Mike Nelson did a great job with our fuel mileage there and got us the position. And hopefully we can stay up front there and maybe win this thing.
His car just a tick on the tight side. He needs that fresh air, Marty.
Kevin Harvick was catching Ryan Newman. Todd, can your car, is this caution to your advantage, I guess?
I don't know if it's an advantage or not, but Kevin Harvick at Chicago is an advantage, of course. So, you know, either way it plays out here, I think we got a car good enough to win this race. So, caution or not, we'll just have to see how it plays out. Still a lot of time left.
Kevin's been talking about something smoking in the car. Is that of concern to you?
No, it's no concern. He's just talking about maybe some new paint or something. It's been kind of smoking all day. He's been smelling it, but he's been doing a great job with a Goodrich Monte Carlo, and no matter how it ends out, it's been a good day.
Dave?
Marty, I'm with the crew chief for Gentleman Jimmy Johnson, Chad Knaus. Chad, you know, Michael Waltrip expressed some displeasure about racing him back. What do you think?
Yeah, you know, I hate to race like that, but we've had it done to us so many times this year, and with only 30-some laps to go, we have to do it. You know, the leaders are racing back like that. If there had been somebody right behind us, they'd have been racing us back also, and that's just, it's the way the sport is developed because every position is so important, especially with the points and everything the way they are. But, you know, the Lowe Chevrolet's running great. We started dead last on the field, worked our way up to the top 5 by midway, and, you know, we're right there. So it's pretty exciting. We'll just see what happens with the Lowe Chevrolet today. I'd like to say happy birthday to BP up there in the booth, and, you know, happy birthday to Mr. Hendrick. It was his birthday yesterday.
We'll let them both know. Bill Weber?
With Slugger Labby, crew chief for Michael Waltrip. You told me this morning 11 changes after a happy hour. Right now, you're 4th. Can you pull it off?
Well, we hope so. You know, them 2 cars in the front are definitely strong, but we were horrible yesterday in the happy hour. Made a bunch of changes and got good fuel mileage. We're a little tight. We needed to pit on lap 207, but track position is so important we decided to stay out. So Napa Chevrolet's doing okay. We get out here with top 5 and be happy. And your driver lost a spot coming back to the caution there. You weren't too pleased with that. Yeah, but we'll let them worry about it on the racetrack.
Alan?
Jimmy Johnson had this to say about the race back to the caution flag on his radio a moment ago.
Well, that 15 spotter, it's happened to me about 15 times, and it's the way the game is played, I guess. I know I'm expecting one.
Sure, buddy, don't worry about it. Shrug that off.
I mean, I don't feel bad for doing it.
That's right, you shouldn't. Because every spot is tough right now, and get it while you can.
There'll be 28 laps to go when the green flag waves here. We're within the final 50 miles. Ryan Newman leads. Kevin Harvick is 2nd. Jimmy Johnson is 3rd. Michael Waltrip now 4th. Tony Stewart 5th. 12 cars on the lead lap. The first one of those who stopped and took tires under this caution, Elliott Sadler in 9th.
Green flag, green.
And Mark Martin on the bottom of the racetrack has been a pretty good car, but
Robbie Gordon jumped out in that high line. Going to pick up a spot or 2.
And Matt Kenseth dives on the inside of Martin. Martin takes a spot away.
Wow. That's to be the first car 1 lap down. Kenseth taking over 13th position there.
Jimmy Johnson trying to drive on the inside of Martin. He does.
Yeah, he can't afford right now to get held up on these cars that are lapped down.
And he can't waste any time. So Newman being stopped by Kevin Harvick. Jimmy Johnson now separated from them by 9/10 of a second after just the 1 lap of messing around with the lap cars. Both of these cars out in front you're looking at, the Newman car and the Harvick car, pitted with 69 laps to go, did not stop when the other front runners did at 58 to go. Jimmy Johnson stopping at 58 to go. So he's got fresher tires, but not by much.
Marginal. And these tires have proven that they run just about as good on 40, 50 laps as they do new.
Matt lay over, let the 48 car go. Now that was a gentleman move, since Matt's a lap down.
So now we have no cars between the top 3 of Newman, Harvick, and Johnson.
But again, Jimmy's lost even more time. Now he's another half second behind than he was 2 laps ago.
And that time off turn 2, Harvick, we saw his car pick up that push off turn 2. Could not close up on the 12.
He's going to try to have to stay out of the 12's air. Wherever the 12 runs, he's going to have to move either a half a lane up or a half a lane down to try to avoid that.
Fourth place here, Tony Stewart trying to take it away from Michael Waltrip. And he's going to get it done.
And Tony Stewart in this 20 car is very, very fast, but I don't know if he can make up this 3 seconds he's behind in the next few laps. Matt?
Tony needs some long runs here, Benny. Under that caution, he was talking to Greg Zipadelli, and he said, you know, I feel like we've got a car. It's not perfect by any means, but I feel like we can still win this race. Just don't get down on me, guys. I think we can still win. Zippy said, we didn't think anything other than that. And then Tony said, by the way, how long before those guys up front are going to have to pit? And Zippy says, they can go the distance. He said, oh.
Well, okay.
This changes everything. So you see the gap from Ryan Newman back to Tony Stewart. That's a lot of ground to make up in 22 laps.
And Harvick's actually kind of lost a couple of car lengths there on the 12th car of Ryan Newman.
The last time by, Newman was about a 1/10 of a second faster than Harvick.
Guys on fresh tires really haven't made up any ground. They've swapped positions among themselves, but nobody's moved forward any. Jamie McMurray's now the farthest up, but he's still in 9th place, just having exchanged that spot with Elliott Sadler. Deficit growing just a little bit more as Newman is powering away. Look at that.
Yeah, just 0.58, 59, going for 6. Whoa, that going the other way a little bit now. So Newman must have picked up the push off turn 2, which hurt his straightaway speed.
By the way, Casey Mears checked and released from the infield care center. You know, usually when you see a race,
Burton going by Waltrip for
5th place.
5th place.
Usually when you see a race on a warm day, and you look at the scoring information that we get in front of us, the fastest lap that a driver will turn all day a lot of times happens pretty early in the race before the track gets hot and slick. Here today at Chicago, we're seeing some of these laps that are being turned right now as being some of the fastest that have been run all day.
Yeah.
Ryan Newman's fastest lap, 241. Kevin Harvick's fastest lap, 241. Jimmy Johnson's fastest lap, 224. So this track has gotten even quicker as the day's gone on.
And again, once again, just to repeat myself, but the tires new tires does not make that big a difference. Well, 3 wide.
Well, what happened was Jeff Burton was trying to get underneath Michael. Michael's been holding pretty tough up in that high line. While those guys were racing, Jeff Gordon made up a bunch of ground on him.
Another car with 4 fresh tires, a 24.
Yeah, he pitted with 49 to go and took on his tires. And now working on Michael Waltrip for 5th place. Jeff Gordon running 6th for the moment. Matt Kenseth, the championship leader, running 13th. Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Bobby Labonte, the other 2 of the top 4 in the standings in the garage area, done for the day after being involved in crashes. By the way, Todd Bodine just took his car back to the garage. It was pushed there by the crew.
Gordon needed that racetrack that Michael had to pull that off and had to jump up out of the gas because he pushed up the racetrack.
Michael's hanging tough on that outside line.
Waltrip 5th in the race for the championship.
Ooh, look at 24 car gained ground there. Just he's having a hard time hold the car down, getting off the corner. He's got a pretty good run here, though. Might be enough.
Might be.
It just forces the issue. If he's enough, he can force the issue, and he did.
So Jeff Gordon to 5th, Michael Waltrip to 6th, and Jeff Burton now in 7th. Michael Waltrip talking about Jeff Burton just a second ago while they were racing.
20. 99 in your mirror is for position. Yeah, no, leave me alone.
He's a little bit busy.
Leave me alone. I got my hands full right now.
So Michael Waltrip running in 6th position now. And let's check out 3rd. Tony Stewart is running down Jimmy Johnson. Made up some ground on him. Jimmy just not able to keep his car right along that white line entering turn 1 there.
Another car that moved up the racetrack and able to stay in front of Tony Stewart.
Stewart has led 80 laps today. Jimmy Johnson has led 25. Johnson, of course, coming from the back after the problems in practice we documented earlier today. Tony Stewart lost some track position in a shuffle of that pit strategy and pit stops, and he just has never gotten back to the front. But for now, not quite able to finish the pass on Jimmy Johnson for third. Last week's winner, Greg Biffle. How about it, Marty?
Well, let's go back and talk about what many people are saying is the upset of the year so far in NASCAR's top series. Biffle, of course, taking the checkered flag at Daytona in just his 23rd Winston Cup start, which led us to wonder, is that the quickest a Roush driver has ever captured his first Winston Cup win? And indeed, it is not. Matt Kenseth won on his first 18th start, rather, at the Lowe's Motor Speedway. If you haven't looked at Ford lately, look again. Biffle in some pretty elite company, guys.
To win in your 23rd start's pretty impressive. Greg Biffle today not having quite as good a day. He's back in 20th position now, a couple of laps down to the race leader.
And the biggest problem he had, one of the car is not as fast as some of these other cars, but he did run out of fuel, and that cost him about a lap, along with the penalty.
And still we watch the race for third as Tony Stewart tries to find a way to get around Jimmy Johnson for that position. And they come to 10 laps to go. Fuel to the finish, not an issue today. It had been for a while. That was taken out by a rash of cautions we had in these late laps. So now what you've got is what you're going to have until the checkered flag on this thing waves. By the way, the rule that NASCAR has, the policy, I should say, that NASCAR has implemented this season about telling the drivers and crew chiefs in their pre-race briefing what lap beyond which they'll not use the red flag to stop the race. Today it's 263. That's with 4 laps to go. So once the leader has completed lap 263, if there's an accident, the red flag will not be used today to stop the race, though every effort would be made to try and get it cleaned up and get it restarted for a green flag finish.
All right, Tony's got to run. Third spot at stake.
Now, can he keep it down on the bottom, getting off of 4?
He could keep it on the bottom, but he needed more.
Yeah, he needed more of those bunnies. A little bit of an advantage in. Usually the higher line, obviously coming off the corner, you're going to have a little bit more speed. Might do a slide job here.
He's trying to do a slide job.
Whoa.
It's the race for third position while Ryan Newman remains comfortably in front of Kevin Harvick by 0.7 of a second at this point.
Matt, that was a pretty nice slide job.
Like the old USAC days, and for Tony Stewart, this season has not been the one that he really wanted, currently sitting 11th in points. If he can duplicate his second half stats from last year, he should finish top 5 in points, and that is his goal now. He wants to go into the Ford Championship weekend, November 16th, with a shot to clinch top 5 in points. And by the way, earlier this week, Tony was diving in Key Largo. He had to wait before he could fly, so he snuck over to the Homestead Speedway. 11:30 at night, snuck into the track. A guard actually caught him when he pulled out his hard card. He said, well, come on in, I'll give you a tour. He has the first unofficial lap around the new Homestead racetrack on the apron, though, but he did dissect the banking. He was already looking at different racetracks where we currently race as far as what springs he might want to try when they have that open test day. Stewart already getting a look ahead to Homestead. He wants to be the first to win on the new remodeled Homestead Speedway.
And I'm sure he'll be happy to share all that information with everyone.
No. Tony and Greg Zipadelli going to be up at the Thompson, Connecticut Speedway on Wednesday night, making an appearance on their way to New Hampshire, which is where the race for the championship continues next Sunday. TNT is where the coverage is of the 300 from New Hampshire International Speedway. That is next Sunday, and we certainly hope you'll be with us. Repaving work on that track track after the reconfiguration of the corners last year. Should be interesting to see how it turns out.
And my guess is Tony Stewart will be pretty tough to beat up there, as also the winner up there last year, Ryan Newman.
Newman, a multiple winner already in 2003. Victories at the Texas Motor Speedway in Dover, but he's also had his problems.
29 cars slow.
Out of gas?
Is he out of fuel? Sure looks like it.
Out of fuel.
Oh, boy. Well, that's just not...
Blow up or you're out of gas, Tim?
Out of gas. And you know, we've run out of gas. Once he passed pit entrance. What's going on, Marty?
Well, you heard the conversation between Todd Berrier and Kevin Hamlin. They are indeed out of fuel. They were positive they could make it all the way. They made a fuel run in happy hour yesterday, and they calculated it at lap 198. They could make it all the way under green flag. We've had caution laps since then. I even asked Todd a moment ago, are you worried about anything? He said, no, we'll be fine. We just won't catch Ryan Newman, but they are indeed out of fuel. Big surprise to these guys.
So he stopped the same lap as Ryan Newman.
That's what I was thinking. So all of a sudden, Matt Borland has to be a little bit nervous in that 12 car.
Coming to the white flag for Ryan Newman. Is he going to have enough fuel to make it around to the checkers? This could be a little bit of a tense last lap for the 12 car. White flag is up. Final lap. Mile and a half to go to his third win of 2003.
Getting a little tacky now.
Ryan Newman finished 5th here a year ago despite having a right front tire go down on him with just 28 laps left. He's got 4 top 5 finishes in the last 6 races this season. And if the fuel holds up, he's going to get his third win of 2003.
He can coast from there, I believe, and win.
Checkered flag is up. Ryan Newman wins the Tropicana 400 2003. The fuel held up. He stopped with what? Where's my number? I lost mine. There it is. 69 laps to go. The same lap as Kevin Harvick. The 12 car made it. 29 didn't. Ryan Newman's 4th career NASCAR Winston Cup win. The 25-year-old from South Bend, Indiana, with 4 top 5 finishes in the last 6 races, make it 5 and 7, Matt.
We got gas! We got gas!
Don't hurt him. Matt Borland.
Good job, dude. You're the man.
Were you nervous at all? I mean, the 29 pitted when you did, and he ran out.
We were a little nervous, but we were pretty sure we had it on fuel. So Mike Nelson just did a great job on the fuel mileage, and I did an awesome job driving. Just good to bring the Mobile Alto Dodge home in one piece in first place.
To make up for last year?
Definitely.
Congratulations.
He's even got gas left to do burnouts. So Ryan Newman has won the Tropicana 400 by 2.6 seconds over Tony Stewart. Our post-race coverage, including an interview with the winner, gets cranked up when we come back to the Chicagoland Speedway.
Back at Chicagoland Speedway in Joliet, Illinois, and the celebration is on for South Bend, Indiana's Ryan Newman. His 3rd win of 2003 and the 4th of his young career. And as you can tell, they're thrilled with this one. Congratulations, they're all great, but this one I know is special to you, being so close to South Bend, being here in Chicagoland.
Yeah, it's cool. I like the racetrack, and I'm really looking forward to the race in the Alto Mobile One Dodge. I want to thank Mobile One, Sony, Altel for all their support, and you know, Matt and the guys did an awesome job. Track position was going to be important. The racetrack was really good today, and just want to thank everybody. Tropicana, great race, and Gatorade Victory Lane, that's awesome.
Were you convinced you had enough fuel to get there?
I was good on the fuel as I get orange pelted up. I was good on the fuel according to Matt. It's just a matter of holding Harvick off, because if he got in front of me, I felt that the cleanup was going to be the difference, but it turned out him running out of fuel didn't make a difference.
Well, this is your 3rd win of the season, Ryan, your 4th of your career.
That's, I'm happy for that one.
Do you have a lot of friends, a lot of family coming here? Because you know this is close to home.
You see them. There's a lot of friends, a lot of family, a lot of loved ones, people from racing. I mean, I grew up racing midgets and sprint cars and silver crown cars around here, so they know a lot about Ryan Newman.
Were you watching Harvick in the mirror?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Did you know he was going to be close?
I knew he was coming, and I knew he had a good car. I watched him in happy hour. I knew he had good potential, and obviously he's won here twice, so happy to dethrone him.
And I'll bet you know what track we go to next week, don't you?
Yeah, I think we'll try to redeem ourselves there, too.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Ryan Newman in victory lane here in Chicagoland. Marty?
Bill, an impressive run for Tony Stewart, who started on the pole today, finished second, and your car was so good at the beginning, so good at the end, but what happened in the middle there, Tony?
I got thrown in with some mixers there for a while. A bunch of cars sponsored by KitchenAid, so no, we had a really good car. I mean, man, this Home Depot Monte Carlo was bad fast, and you know, I left the trailer at the end of happy hour yesterday, and I was thinking, I wonder if I should go a little bit more with the last change that we made, and I talked myself out of it, which I talked Zippy out of it too, and you know, I wish I would have stuck to my first instinct on it and made the change. It would have made us a little bit better, but man, I tell you what, Greg and the guys had good pit stops today. You know, track position was the one thing that hurt us, but the good thing was, I mean, you could race on this track today. I mean, you know, you figure this is our third Winston Cup race here, and this track's got a real cool personality. It's fun to race on. It got 3 wide, 4 wide at times. It had plenty of racing room. You could race anybody anywhere, but you had to be good to get by these guys. So I think the people of Illinois got a pretty neat racetrack, something they can be pretty proud of right now.
Seemed like the hardest car for you to pass all day long was a 48 car. You finally had to pull a little slide job on him. How did you get around him?
A little old-fashioned short track racing. I'm gonna go watch my buddy Dude race at Terre Haute with the World Outlaw car tonight. So I pulled that one for him. That's for him and the guys that have been working hard on the JD Byrider car too. So I'll see you guys here in a little bit as soon as I get my shower and something to eat.
Hey, this car's run twice this year. It's won and finished second. That's pretty good, Matt.
Marty, Jimmy Johnson scored his first top 5 since Charlotte, and this was a run you guys desperately needed.
Yeah, we needed to close the gap. We needed to have a good run, and the other guys have some problems, and this worked out for us. The 8 had problems. The 17 wasn't very good all day. The 18 had problems. So, you know, it's turned out to be a good points day for us, and it feels good to be able to capitalize on it for once. Even after all the problems we had all weekend long, we're still able to come back from 43rd to finish 3rd, and I'm very happy with all the effort that went into this whole Lowe's race team and everything that we did.
You know, was traffic a big problem for you? Traffic was a problem for a lot of people today.
It was a big problem. I mean, when I got to about 15th, that's when it got really, really hard. It's one thing when you're coming through the guys that are struggling, but when you get to the top 15, you're only splitting maybe a 10th or 2 between the 15th place car and the leader, and that's tough. That's hard work, and it took good pit stops and a little bit of strategy and a fast race car, and we did a good job today.
A first, a fourth, and a third here. You really love this.
This track's good for me. I've also busted my butt here before too, so it's a good racetrack for me. I enjoy it, and you know, it was exciting out there too. At the end, the second roof started to come in, so I think this is going to be one of the better tracks that we're going to race on for years to come.
Jimmy Johnson gained some points and earned a top 3 finish today, Marty.
Matt, meanwhile, his teammate and car owner, Jeff Gordon, finished 4th right behind him. Talk about the decision to come get tires. Was that the key to you getting back up through the field, Jeff?
Yeah, I was horrible on new tires all day. I don't know. That's something we've really got to work on. I'm just so loose on new tires. And we put those right sides on and thought it would tighten me up a little bit, and it really didn't. I lost some position. Almost lost the car. The car got real loose on me. And so we lost some positions. We knew there was only 12 cars on the lead lap, so we just came in and got 4, and it worked in our favor. A couple other guys on the next caution came in, we gained the spots, and then the car, our car was better than the guys that were in front of us. So it was a good hard fought day for everybody in the DuPont Chevrolet. Real proud of these guys, capitalized on some guys, had some bad days, and top 5 is what it's all about. We're going to keep trying to do that each and every weekend, and hopefully we can get them.
I know the biggest issue for you is that you've been sick all weekend. How do you feel now, and did you get enough hydration during the race?
Well, it helps when you have a good race car. It makes your day a little bit better, but I did. I kept myself real hydrated, and I actually felt real good. I mean, still kind of hacking and coughing, but other than that, I feel great.
You can hack off and finish 4th. I think that's a good thing, Matt.
Well, we've caught up with Michael Walsh, a 5th place finish. First off, you two were talking a little bit ago, and you two were talking out on the racetrack earlier. What were you saying?
I mean, the way this deal works anymore, when you've got to run, even if you're coming back to the caution, you got to do something with it. And I was setting Michael up, got to run on the outside, and dove underneath him, and they said caution was out, and I was to his quarter panel. And I mean, I was burned twice today from it, and I mean, I don't feel good about doing it, but it's the way it seems like it's got to race. So I was making sure everything was cool, and it's just kind of how the game is.
And everything's cool with you?
Yeah, I was going to hold him up. My car got a little bit tight there at the end, so as long as everybody understands that's the way you do things. And I talked to Helton about it, and he said if you're in the lead and you're just coming back to the yellow and there's no danger, it's cool to race back. What I said to him on the track, we can't talk about here.
Family program.
I apologize to him for doing that. You know how in the heat of battle you'll do just about anything, but I don't blame him. As long as he knows I got to do the same thing to him, then everything's cool.
The thing is, I don't agree with doing it, but I've been burned, multiple times this year from it. So you do it and you grin, cringe about it, and you just hope that somebody understands on the other side.
Do you think there should almost be a rule where it's just flat, where you don't race back or you do race back?
It's hard to say. It's debatable either way. We just need to all get back to respecting one another, and Michael hasn't done that to me before, and when I went by him, I feel bad for doing it, but it's what I had to do.
I'll still shop at Lowe's if you'll still go to Napa to get your parts.
That's a lot of shopping going on.
Don't you love it when two men, grown men, can have a disagreement on the track and then be all right with it?
And go shopping.
And go shopping.
And go shopping. Guys don't typically shop, so at least we're not going to some
Come on, let's go.
mall
You
or
ready?
something. Okay.
Arm in arm, they're off to do some shopping.
Oh. Well, you got a reaction to that?
Well, you have to, unless they make it a rule, as far as I'm concerned, all these guys are going to race each other back to the yellow. That's all. The gentleman's agreement thing's out the window, in my opinion.
NASCAR's top 10 after today's race. Matt Kenseth's lead was 180 over Dale Jr. It's now 165 over Jeff Gordon. Dale Jr. and Bobby Labonte with a big hit today as a result of being taken out in those late accidents. Dave Burns spoke with championship leader Matt Kenseth just a moment ago.
Well, Matt, you struggled all day long. It just seemed like the car wouldn't get right for you. Tell us about what you went through.
Yeah, that was an understatement. We just, we all tried really hard. We just made poor decisions. I started making them and just got the wrong tires on the car, and just the way the pit stops worked out and everything just got us so far behind we could never come back from it. And I don't know, frustrating day. It was frustrating enough, and then my teammate was all mad at me then for passing him, and I sure appreciate everything he's done for me, but I can't not pass him. So it was kind of frustrating end of the day.
So did you have a discussion with Mark following the event?
Oh yeah, I had a discussion with him. I don't know what he was mad about. I passed him. I thought this was racing, and I thought we were allowed to pass even if we were 3 wide. So all I did was pass him. I had a better run, and I drove way away from him after I passed him. So it's always frustrating when you have somebody you look up to get mad at you, but I don't really feel like I did anything wrong. It's just a frustrating day. We're real lucky to get 12th place finish out of it, and I'm just going to be happy that we salvage a terrible day with a decent finish and go on to next week and try to do better.
Well, and I know you are frustrated. Put that all in perspective based on the fact that you're still the points leader and fighting for that championship.
Yeah, I mean, to mess up as many things as we messed up to finish 12th is a great job. So real proud of all the DeWalt guys, the guys at Roush Racing that give us this reliable equipment, and we needed to be there at the end, and we were. We didn't run good. I'm real ashamed of the way we ran and the things we did today. But I'm excited that we still got a good finish out of it.
All right, thanks, Matt. Championship teams don't always get it easy, but they always get it in the end, guys.
And back in the garage with Robbie Gordon. I've got you unofficially 7th today. How was your day?
Real good day for the singular wireless Chevrolet. Guys gave me great pit stops all day long. We started 35th. Big disadvantage when we qualified. Went out 4th. It rained right before we went out. I gave up a little bit, but Harvick, my other teammate, was running really good. He almost had an opportunity to win. I miscalculated a little bit on fuel, but guys did a great job on both teams. They came here and tested. Harvick came here and tested. We share a lot of information, and they really helped us out a lot.
Thank you, Thing, dropping in from up above. You and Stewart on the track today. What happened there?
Well, I mean, I hated it for Tony. He had a fast race car, and I had no idea that Elliott Sadler was going to come down the inside of me, and he basically took the line away from me. I had to go up, and I rubbed with Stewart, so it wasn't my fault. I made sure my guys went over to him and explained to him that, hey, that wasn't on purpose. Elliott dive bombed me on the inside, and I had to move up if I was going to save my car. And I'm just happy none of us wrecked there. All of us saved it, and Tony was able to fix this car and still be strong at the end of the day.
What was the first thing you said to me when I walked up about what happened out on that track?
Yeah, I mean,
what you said.
I wonder if Jeff Gordon's going to jump up and down and scream about his own driver passing under the yellow. Think about it.
They just talked about it. All right, thanks, Robbie. That's Robbie Gordon. His teammate Kevin Harvick came out, had a one-sentence comment. We ran out of gas and left the garage. Marty?
Bill, a nice run for Jeff Burton, who comes home in the 6th position. How was your race car today, Jeff?
We were pretty good. We took off real fast, drove up through, Matt and I drove up through there pretty well, and really liked the car to start, and we kept making it better, and then there at one point we really got loose and had to hang on for a few laps, and then there at the end we got tight. But this team's getting better and better. Like I said at the beginning of the year, we're a brand new team, and we keep working and keep making it better and keep trying to build this team to be a championship caliber team.
This is the first time you guys have strung together 2 top 10s all year long. What corner has the team turned, and what's made the difference?
It's a lot of hard work. Our guys are working so many hours. I feel bad for them. They're just working you know, late at night, early in the morning. They hadn't had any time off, and it's just a lot of effort, a lot of testing, and a lot of desire. And you know, it's starting to show. It's you know, those guys, my team's just working extremely hard. They're, you know, every team works hard, but we're working a lot of overtime. We're working, you know, early in the morning. We're working on weekends and doing a lot of testing, and it's starting to pay off.
You're one of the spokesmen for the sport, so I'll ask you this. You may have not seen it, but the 48 past the 15 coming to the caution. Gentleman's agreement, is it gone, Jeff?
They got to make a rule. There is no gentleman's agreement, and I don't know why. You know, people that normally have respect for each other don't have respect for each other anymore, and we've got to find a way where you don't race back to the line. If this gentleman's agreement stuff doesn't work, because it's an agreement, it's not a rule. NASCAR's got the iron fist. They can slam it down on you and make you do the right thing and make you wish you had done the right thing. If they leave it up to us, we're going to cheat, steal, and do anything we can and get the best position we can.
All right, fair and clean today. Jeff Burton finishes an impressive 6th, Dave.
Well, I know Jeremy Mayfield likes to hear these words, another top 10 finish. How'd that feel today?
Well, felt another good day, wasn't it? Because you know, I'm real proud of this whole race team, and our Dodge has been running good. And it's pretty good to get on TV now and talk about how good our Dodge was, and for all the Dodge dealers, UAW, and everybody out there. But, man, just real proud of this team. Everybody back to the shop's working hard, and just keep giving me good race cars, and that's what's happening. You know, we stuff's driving good and good pit calls and good motors. Everything's doing good right now, and hopefully we can make it 4 straight next week.
You've mentioned to those of us who cover you guys to watch for you guys in the second half of the season, and so far you've backed it up. What's doing this, Jeremy?
Man, just really chemistry and getting to know everybody, you know, and you know, we were talking this morning, and it's like this is a brand new race team. You know, it seems like, and you know, all the guys, we really haven't worked together, you know, until the beginning of the year. So we're just now starting to, you know, understand each other, and you know, just trying to figure out. They're trying to, or have been trying to figure out what I want in a race car. We just now got that figured out, and it seems like we're gonna have it for a while now.
All right, hopefully for Jeremy Mayfield, next week will be another top 10. Thanks, Jeremy.
Thank you, Dave. Back in the garage with Terry Labonte, and there's a cooler in the way, and there's stuff in the way, and I'm trying to get in here and ask you how your day was. I got you 15th on my sheet.
I think that's where we were, 15th. Well, it wasn't as good as we'd hoped for. Our car was awful tight in traffic. We got out front there a couple times with the leaders. We could run pretty good, but when we got back in the back, we weren't very good, and so we tried to loosen our car up, but we could make it loose, but we couldn't keep it from pushing in traffic. So we salvaged the 15th.
Yeah, that's tough back there, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's just so hard to pass, and there were several guys I know looked like fighting the same thing, but you get kind of close to them, and then you lose the front end. But we just have to work on it.
I got to ask you, Terry, did you see Bobby's car on fire?
Actually, I did not. I saw the smoke, and they'd already told me he was already out of the car, and it was his car. So I was glad to hear he was already out, because it looked like a pretty big fire when I got back over there.
It was big, believe me, when you see it on tape. So I know that's tough. We've talked about it before, racing with your brother out there at your...
Yeah, and the guys know it, and they told me I was in turn 2. You know, they said he's already out of the car, so that was good news.
All right, we'll see you in Loudon.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Alan.
And New Hampshire is next up, but first let's check the final results from today's Tropicana 400. It is Ryan Newman picking up yet another win in 2003, his 3rd win of the season, tying him with Kurt Busch for most in the league.
And all the top 10 cars on the lead lap, finishing 267 laps. And also Bill Elliott completes 267 laps. Matt Kenseth, the first car 1 lap down.
But again, as Matt just said, a decent day in the championship for him, because he really didn't lose anything. I mean, a bad day was 12th. That's okay. Drivers who struggled through the day, Dale Jarrett, vibration on his car at one point, spent a couple of laps on pit road trying to get it sorted out. 30th place result for DJ. And now the drivers involved in the accidents, including 2 of the top 4 in the championship coming in, Bobby Labonte and Dale Earnhardt Jr.
And Rusty Wallace changed the transmission and finished only 18 laps down.
Joe Nemechek out early. Derek Cope, the first out of the race, and that's how they ran in the Tropicana 400. The Tropicana Pure Premium Tune-In, Peel Out, and Win contest. Jeff Gordon's fastest lap of the day was 133. If you received a number from TropicanaRacing.com after buying the specially marked package, and your number was 133, you are now entered into a drawing to become part of Jeff's pit crew for next year's Tropicana 400. 133 was the magic number. Maybe you can help him tear down the car after the win next year in an inspection.
I don't think you want to do that. No, that's hot, it's greasy, and it's hot.
Okay.
And did you mention it was hot?
And it's very hot.
I guess it's hot.
Yes.
Bill?
With Jamie McMurray being congratulated by some of his teammates, I thought...
And I was talking to Tony in the media center, and we thought it was going to be kind of a California all over again. But we just need to work on adjusting our car to make it better at the end of the race. We had a great car at the beginning, and I mean, it wasn't loose and it wasn't tight, it was just right. And the car just got a little too tight, but pretty good day for the Haviland team.
And you stayed on tires for a long time, taking fuel only a couple of times.
Yeah, Donnie, we had all talked about that in our meeting before the race, that tires just didn't fall off in the Busch race yesterday. So, and track position is so important at a place like this that, you know, we opted just to put fuel in, and sticker tires are scary at these places. You're just all over the place. So with the tires not falling off, track position was more important than tires.
I can imagine that you can't wait to get to some of these tracks the second time.
Yeah, and that's our goal. Everyone talks, you know, what's our goal for the second half of the season? It's just to do better than what we did the first half at that racetrack. So definitely looking forward to being able to go back. I mean, I've been to some of the tracks before, but getting to go back with this team, with the same crew chief, and I have some notes to go off of with these cars. I mean, it's going to be the second half of the season for not just my team, but all of Ganassi's teams is going to be better. We've come a long ways with not only our bodies and engines, but our race cars are just getting better every week.
Okay, Matt, do you want something, Matt?
Well, Bill, Greg Biffle, last week's winner, has a question. He wants to know,
where's Jamie McMurray? I'm ready to go.
Greg Biffle's looking for you.
Oh, I'm not flying home with him.
This just in.
I'm going to Indy. Selling and testing Indy.
And
my
the
girlfriend's
reason
flying
is,
with him, though.
And the reason is they share an airplane, but you don't
Matt's
have
talking to him.
Oh, no.
And the reason is because you guys share a plane, but he's going to Indy testing, so you don't have to wait on him.
I forgot about that. Last time that happened, he was going somewhere to test. I sat over there and I'm waiting around. I'm going, God, when is he going to show up? And they said, well, we told you 15, 20 minutes ago he wasn't coming. So I got to pay attention more often, I guess. But I tell you, the Granger car was started out really, really loose today. And, just didn't make a big enough adjustment. I feel bad for the guys because I think we had a car we could run in the top 15 with. But tough day for us.
Bill?
Okay, and Biffle said it was his screw-up that they told him and he just forgot. So.
Okay. I need to run over there real quick.
Okay, I got to stop you one more thing. Right. You know about that Haviland paint scheme, and you know that a lot of guys have had a lot of success with it, and you know that it's most identified with Davey Allison, and it was 10 years ago today that we lost Davey.
Yeah, and that is one of the coolest things about driving this car is the people that have been a fan of the Haviland cars since Davey Allison drove it. And it's cool to get to listen to the stories that they tell you about how they've been with the car since Davey. So, I said it when I first got this ride that I couldn't imagine having a better sponsor in Winston Cup Racing. So just feel very fortunate that I'm the blessed one that gets to drive that car.
All right, man. Thanks for your time.
Okay,
good luck.
Thank you.
Marty?
And Bill, the man who used to drive that 28 car, or drives a 38 car now that used to be Davey Allison's car. Elliott Sadler with an impressive run today. Started 8th, finished 9th, Elliott. Last time I looked on the board, you were like 12th. How'd you gain so many spots so quickly?
Raymond made a good call at the end to get 2 tires, try to get us some track position. We did that most of the day, try to gas only, 2 tires, 4 tires. We had to keep splitting it up because it's so important here to try to be out front, get some air on your nose, and everybody's so equal, it's so hard to pass. So, but M&M's Ford Taurus to come home top 10, we're very happy with that. We very much needed a run like this today.
I saw you a couple times. You went for some crazy rides this afternoon and almost got in the fence a couple of times.
Yeah, we were real loose in, and Raymond worked on all the guys, and we made it a little bit better. But one time Robbie was pretty close to my back bumper and made me real loose in. So I'm just glad to keep the groovy summer car in one piece. It took them 6 hours to letter it, so I kind of wanted to keep it together for the guys. But all in all, it was a good day, and it goes back to qualifying. We qualified so well Friday. Track position was very important for that long green flag run, and we were able to stay on the lead lap and come away with a great finish. You and I were talking last week, and June and July was a real struggle for this race team. What went right this weekend that you can use from now on? I think that we came here with a brand new body style deal. We've been moving our bodies around a lot and see what I like. I'm new to this race team, Raymond's first year crew chief, so we're trying to learn a lot about each other. I heard Jeremy Mayfield talking about chemistry earlier. That's exactly the same thing that we're going through. They're trying to find something that fits my driving style. And I think we're definitely going in the right direction. And, Doug has been bailing us out with so much horsepower here lately, too. The motor we had today was absolutely unbelievable. So thank the guys in the motor shop for that. But we're just trying to find what works for Elliott Sadler. And I think we do that the second half of the season. When we go back to these tracks for the second time, you're going to see a lot better Elliott Sadler than you did the first half. All right, I think Greg Biffle may need a ride home, so we need to go. Maybe you can give him a ride home, right? I'm not going home. I'm going to Indy. We're going to test. Well, you can give Jamie McMurray a ride to Indy, and then Biffle can catch a ride home with someone else. Yeah, tell him hurry up. We'll leave in about 10 minutes. All right, very good, Dave.
Bill Elliott came home 11th today. Bill, Tough day for you in certain ways. Tell us about coming home 11th.
Well, I mean, I got involved in that deal down in 3 and 4, and I was going through it okay, and somebody spun and came off of the bottom and hit me really hard on the left side. And then it was just survival from then. I mean, we were able to run just good enough to stay on the lead lap. But, we'd run good enough earlier in the day to stay there and be decent. But, now today, track position's everything. And our Dodge, it ran good. Congratulations to Ryan Newman. He pulled off another good victory, but we'll get there.
Were you surprised how well it ran, even after all the damage?
Very much so. I mean, that thing was really tore up that hard and still finished the race.
All right, thanks, Bill. Good finish for him, even though they had a tough day, guys.
I think it's tore up.
Thank you, Dave. And we're back here in the garage area, and this is Bill Elliott's car, and I'm with his crew chief, Mike Ford, and the guys are working on it now. And I just want to know how you got that car home and with an 11th place finish is where I've got you in that condition.
Well, sometimes when you do have misfortune, you can get a little lucky, and we were fortunate in the accident not to get hit in the wheel. And, the guys did an excellent job getting the car back together. It's taped and bungee corded and tie wrapped, and did the best we could to survive the last 50 laps. And it was a good day for the Dodge dealers, UAW Dodge. Both cars were capable of finishing in the top 10. We ended up 10th and 11th. So all in all, I think it was a pretty good day.
I talked to a number of guys on both teams, the 9 and the 19 over this weekend, and you guys, both teams, seem really now headed in the right direction again after maybe losing your way for a while.
Yeah, we had some personnel changes over the winter and some rules changes, and we felt directionally it was best for the team. With Kenny Francis over at the 19 now, we're able to rely on each other a little bit, and we kind of took a step back, but we're definitely moving forward now and feel like we're gaining some momentum.
All right, thanks for your time. We'll see you next week.
Okay, thank you very much.
That's Mike Ford, crew chief for Bill Elliott. All done here at Chicagoland on the track. Ryan Newman, the winner. We'll be right back with more.
Back at Chicagoland Speedway, our NASCAR Busch Series update. Bobby Hamilton Jr. dominated yesterday's race here at the racetrack. He will lead the field into the race next Saturday at New Hampshire International Speedway. Scott Riggs leading a very tight championship fight there. Last night, Kentucky Motor Speedway, Carl Edwards with his first NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series win, driving for Jack Roush. They also with an exceptionally tight fight in the championship as they go to race in St. Louis this coming Saturday night. Matt Yoakum.
And Kyle Petty, a 27th place finish. Can you take anything good away from here, Kyle?
Yeah, I can. Kind of jumped on our engine guys last week, and probably the wrong way to do it, and I apologize for that. I don't apologize for some of the intent anyhow, but these guys worked 96 hours straight to send us to Chicago with something different. Christian came with one group, we came with another thing, and there's a big difference. They've made some big gains in 96 hours, so my hat's off to them. They worked hard. Our guys worked hard on the cars. I think our cars are better. I think everything's getting a little bit better. So there's a little bit of daylight at the end of the tunnel. We just got to keep plugging at it.
So they were working on different engine packages with the 43 and 45?
Yeah, we have to now. We're just going to have to. We try to stay true to what we do and try to keep as much of it the same as we can. But to make some gains, we're going to have to cut bodies. We're going to have to change engines. We're going to have to change everything we can. I've said that before. We'll change the sinks back at the race shop if that's what it takes to run fast. And that's what we're trying to do. So, like I said, those guys went back, Mike Egge and those guys went back and worked really, really hard. Had a lot of meetings this week, a lot of talk this week, but a lot of work this week.
Now, what was the King saying earlier? You got to hurry because of why?
Why?
Because you got a police escort and you got to go?
I got this police escort right here. We've been waiting on Jeremy Mayfield. He's been in there shaving his legs or something. I don't know what the deal is, but now we're going.
And he brought his dog with him, by the way. Come on over to the car. He brought the dog with him. As Kyle's getting in his car, Mayfield's over here. He's hiding in the back seat. By the way, what's your dog's name?
This is Big Mama. Matt.
Okay, the cars are rolling out, the bikes are rolling out. Mayfield, everybody's leaving Chicago.
The Great Escape is on.
We were going to talk to Dale Jarrett, but I don't think we will now. He has decided to go to his motorhome, and he finished 30th today, guys. Up to you.
It was a good try. Not a good day for Dale Jarrett. And so the fans are filing out. The drivers are filing out as well from Chicagoland Speedway after the Tropicana 400. We said at the top of our broadcast about 4 hours ago now, would there be a second groove today? What kind of race would we see? Answer was?
I think it was there.
Oh, the groove was there. It was three. They could run 3 wide through the corners. Not at speed, but we saw the guys 3 wide. It was definitely there, and next year it will be even better. It was, I thought, a pretty good race.
Yeah, even the drivers were talking about, the groove was there. So that's good.
Kevin Harvick, as we recap the race for you, coming in trying to win 3 straight here at Chicagoland Speedway. Green flag before a full house of 75,000. Tony Stewart on the pole. Lap 65, Kurt Busch.
And that is unusual for a Roush car to run out of fuel before some of the other cars.
We move ahead to lap 92. Trouble for Larry Foyt. Turn 4. Into the wall. Okay, he was, but done for the day. His race finished there. Now lap 106. Johnny Sauter with a right rear tire that shreds the corner of his Pontiac. Debris on the track brings out the caution flag. Dale Jr. caught a piece of that debris.
And knocked the front bumper back under. They had to beat it out. Here comes the fake.
Tony Stewart and Kevin Harvick playing a little game of who's going to pit and who's not.
And once Tony Stewart got back in the traffic, he could just never fight his way back up front again.
There was an anxious moment here. 3 wide going into 1.
Tony Stewart getting shuffled out by Robbie Gordon and Elliott Sadler. Kurt Busch's day didn't get any better after being out of fuel. Engine ended up blowing up on him. He was done for the day. Pretty heavy attrition in this one today.
The whole weekend was pretty rough for those guys. That was a backup car. They wrecked primary car on Friday.
And as the caution came out, Tony Stewart expressing some displeasure to Robbie Gordon.
He runs up and tells him how displeased he is, but Robbie talked about he really didn't have anything he could do because the 38 car had dove on the inside and made it 3 wide in turn 1.
Scary moment here for Dale Earnhardt Jr. Said the car had been kind of evil handling all weekend. Finally just got away from him. One of the championship contenders in trouble. Then this. The scary moment of the day in turn 3. Johnny Benson, Casey Mears make contact. Benson clips Bobby Labonte. And Labonte's car pounds the outside wall and explodes in a ball of flame.
But Labonte, you can see, trying to get out and finally does scramble out.
Final caution, Casey Mears hit the wall in turn number 2. Coming back to the caution, Jimmy Johnson racing Michael Waltrip for 3rd position. Down to the final laps of the race, Kevin Harvick out of fuel with 2 to go. Ryan Newman, who pitted on the same lap as Harvick, had enough to go to the finish. And Ryan Newman with his 3rd win of 2003. And the results from today's Tropicana 400. And that's it for today here in Chicagoland. Our NASCAR coverage moves on next weekend to New England and the New Hampshire International Speedway. Don't forget it's on TNT. We'll be there Saturday with the NASCAR Busch Series race at 1 o'clock Eastern. Then next Sunday on TNT, starting with Discover Card Countdown to Green at 1:30 Eastern, followed by the New England 300. Next, except on the West Coast, a 2-hour Dateline NBC, followed by Law and Order, Criminal Intent, and Crime and Punishment. For our NASCAR on NBC crew, Alan Bestwick, so long from Chicago.
To the garage, boys.
Sweet home, Chicago.
Just lost control of it. That's unfortunate, but Sam Hansford.
Look there, brother, baby, and I'll see what I see. No, baby, don't you wanna go?
Check up, Robbie. Stand in front of you. Go way low, way low. All right. Back up. The way the game is playing, I guess.
Checkered flag is up. Ryan Newman wins the Tropicana 400 2003.
You guys did an awesome job today.
My sweet home.